Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Forest Morphs. Tonight we've got a wonderful show for you guys. We've got friends from the US, Independence, Missouri. It's Celtic Balls, Angie and Jeff. So let's start the show by just playing a little bit of music and then we'll introduce our guests. And just bear with me while we go for the music. And here we go. Wonderful. So welcome, Angie. Welcome to the show, and welcome, Jeff, as well.
Thank you.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys on the large screen, if I may. See if I can actually get you to. I'm still learning about technology. That's better. Now I can see you both. Sorry, I went large. I almost cut Jeff out the show there. I wouldn't want to do that. I can see you're well built, Jeff. Are you a bodybuilder or?
Yes,
I do it a little bit.
I thought you did.
I used to powerlift for the Air Force.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
And what weights? What weights were you lifting?
Well, at the time, I was 165 pounds a long time ago.
Wow.
And I had a 330 bench, a 450 squat, and a 500 deadlift.
Oh, you should get to know my son Jared because he served his mission in the US and he trained with the equivalent of a. Over here we have. I'm trying to. At the very top of the game over there, is it Marine? You guys have Marines. Is it Marines?
yes. Our daughter was a Marine.
Is that right? Wow, that's really impressive because it's no easy task to become a Marine. I tell you, you must be very proud parents.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's
She
fantastic.
gives me a hard time. I was in the Air Force, so she gives me a hard time all the time. Telling me I was in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds wonderful. It's lovely to get a little bit of background to you as a couple. And Angie, how did you guys meet each other? What was the story on you guys getting together?
We actually met online.
Did you?
We did.
Oh, fantastic.
We were on a dating site, and I had never messaged anyone in my life, and I saw him, and I was like, oh.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's lovely to hear that because media at the moment is so essential with all the things we're having to go through that, I really look forward to my Saturday nights because I get some socialization. I get to meet other people in the hobby. And you're my third, hopefully you're my third live show this year. And we've got, I think Jeremy's coming in, I think next week from Forest Morphs. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've got February starting to build up. So I'm really starting to look forward to my Saturday nights because there's something going on every Saturday night now, which is fantastic.
Becoming a superstar.
Well, I wouldn't say superstar, but certainly enjoying it. But we've got let's welcome a few of our guests to the show. So I'd like to welcome Simon. So we've got Simon Millership, who's just joined us. Just going to give him a shout out. So here's Simon. So welcome to the show, Simon. We've also got Phil. Let me just see where you are. Phil Snyder. Welcome to the show, Phil. Really appreciate you coming. Now, I think you guys know Phil, don't you? I think you're.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you guys know Phil?
Just from the lives. Just
from the lives. Yeah, he's wonderful. He supports. I know he's good friends with Adam at Proper Royals, and I know he knows GP Snakes. So you got Gershon, and I know you guys have been on Gershon's show, haven't you?
At least I've been on once, and Angie's been on twice.
Oh, well, Gershon's a lovely guy, and also a big welcome to my son Jared, who'll be very interested to know about your powerlifting because Jared used to do.
Right.
So Jared, my son, is joining us. Welcome, Jared.
Hello, Jared.
So it's interesting because Jeff was saying that I'm not sure if you're still doing it, but you were actually lifting some big weights and still can probably lift some big weights.
I'm getting old. My back doesn't do well anymore.
Okay. But I know...
now I've been about 455.
And he's training me, so...
That's really cool. That's really good to keep in good... Because I was looking at your logo, and we'll talk about your logo in a second. But there's so many different meanings to your Celtic logo.
Yes.
About mind, body, and spirit, the three dimensions to the human body. And you guys impressed me because you're looking really fit. Whereas
Thank you.
myself, I have a hip operation in the next few months, and I have been literally for the last 3 years been struggling. I used to play a lot of racquetball and I used to do a lot of fishing. But because of my hip, I'm having to restrict my activities, so I am actually in need of some. As soon as my hips repaired, I'm going to start to rebuild my body and try to get myself fit again. Because when you can't do your sports for 3 years, all your muscles tend to get weaker. So I've got to kind of get myself back into more exercise. But I'm sure that will come.
Your last video, I saw you limping a little bit, and I know you mentioned your hip before.
Yeah, I had an accident on a bridge many years ago, 3 years ago. I fell off a bridge while I was salmon fishing, and I landed 4 feet onto an eel caging straight on my hip, and it was a big impact blow. And I've been hobbling around for nearly 3 years with inflammation and pain.
That big old fish that just took you over.
Yeah, I wish it was, but so yeah, Jared. I think you and Jared will get on really well there, guys, because Jared loves his training and weightlifting. And I'd like to give a good shout out and welcome to KA Royals. So welcome to KA Royals.
Hi,
Hey, Kay.
Yeah, loving the Saturday night shows. So it's a big welcome to you as well. Thank you for joining us. So do you guys know Kay yourselves? Are you connected with her?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
We'll have to subscribe to them when we get off the live.
Yeah, it'd be wonderful. I'm finding since I've been doing more and more lives, I'm building up more friendships. And this is a lovely way that we can share our communities, because you guys have been on YouTube, I think. Did you launch your channel last year? Was it? Am I right?
So we've had it a little bit, but we just started posting videos, I believe, in April, this last April. So almost a year.
Fantastic. And I've been watching and looking at your content. I try to prepare for these shows because the lovely thing about YouTube is that we can get to know each other in so many different ways. It's lovely to get to know each other live, but I always like to do a little bit of homework, so I know a little bit about your interests and try and find out a little bit more about your background. And I was really fascinated to know that you were actually from Independence, Missouri, which is a very beautiful place.
It is. It's suburbs of Kansas City. Very beautiful. A lot of history to it.
Yeah. Well, I know there's quite a lot of history because the church I belong to, actually, our founder traveled through Independence, Missouri, and actually built a temple there. And there's some very interesting history that I'm aware of coming through there. So there's I think there's 2 temples that my wife and I, Mandy, when we come to visit the US, we have I think there's lots and lots of temples that we like to visit. We haven't visited the 2 in Missouri, which is Kansas City, and the other one I think is, actually I'm going to try and see if I can just bear with me. I'm going to try and get us on that screen and share a couple of pictures if I may. Because I've done a little bit of, let me see if I can find this. Just bear with me a second. So there's our logo. And then let me just have a look at that. Now, I think your logo is absolutely fantastic. I love it very much so. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. And I love the fact that you've got that snake around the Celtic cross as well. It's so beautiful. But we'll come back to that and discuss a little bit more about your logo in a second. But I just wanted to share, if I can find it. I'm going to see if I can find, now that map hasn't come through very well, but I try to get a map of where you guys are based in the US. And I don't know if you can see that. It's a bit blurry, but that is the Mississippi River I see coming through Kansas City.
The Missouri River.
Is it the Missouri River?
Yes, sir.
That's the Missouri River.
Mississippi's on the other side of the state.
Okay. So I'm getting my geography back to front. I'm pretty good at doing that. So. But that's lovely. You've got really good access to a beautiful river. You know I love my fishing, so I bet you there's some good fishing in that river.
Yes. So if you look at the P in Independence, that's about where we are.
Okay. So how far are you from Kansas City?
15 minutes.
So you're 15 minutes from Kansas City. Independence is in red in the center there. Is that where you're based, around that area?
Yes.
Okay. Now that looks like a pitch.
That's Kansas City.
That's Kansas City.
So I've got Kansas City. I'm not doing very well here. That's not Independence. Welcome to my world of getting things wrong. Do you recognize the mountains there?
No.
Those might be
yeah.
the Ozarks, maybe.
Maybe southwest of us. Or southwest of us, I'm sorry.
You've got a river running through there with some mountains, and it's not too far from you. But I'm just going to see if I can find. Do you recognize this slide?
I don't know where Grand. Is that down by the Grand Falls?
I'm not sure.
That might be down by the plaza, which
I
is
think
in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think these falls look beautiful. I mean, you've got some beautiful places to visit. And here, I thought I'd get this one because of the Gothic side.
Yeah.
This is apparently, if I'm right, I might have got it wrong again. Is this Gothic waters overlooking Mississippi, or is it looking overlooking Missouri?
The Mississippi.
The Mississippi, yeah. Okay.
So that might be
I
St.
think
Louis
it's
area.
the St. Louis type area.
Okay. So let me just see if I can. Now, this is the temple I was talking to you about. This is called Kansas City Temple, which is the temple of the church I belong to, the Church of Jesus Christ, the Latter-day Saints.
Yep. And that is just north of us.
Okay. You can't really miss them because they're big white buildings and they put them in very nice places by motorways and things, so people drive by. There's about 150 in the world, and Mandy and I have we've visited 20 or 30, but our goal is over our lifetime of traveling, we want to visit every temple. So we've got another good reason to visit Kansas City, to come and visit you guys as well. So
I drive by that every day going to work.
Oh, fantastic. Now this temple here is called St. Louis Temple. St. Louis?
St. Louis, yes.
So that's in Missouri. I'm not sure how far that is from you guys, but
It's 4 hours.
4 hours. It's not too bad. Okay. So that's a little bit of a tour of my understanding of where you guys are near, but it's probably very biased towards my religious beliefs and kind of my feelings.
That's okay. I'm Community of Christ, so.
Are you?
And they have a big temple here in Independence also.
Well, that's fantastic because the Community of Christ actually have a really beautiful temple. I really wish I added it to my slideshow because I should have added it really, but it's a very beautiful. It's amazing. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's such a beautiful temple. Yeah. Lovely. Well, we must visit that too. So let's just see where we are now. I've done a little bit of history.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is Jeff's side of the family come originally from Ireland. Now, what part of Ireland are you guys from?
County Kerry.
County Kerry. Now, do you know what? I live near Ireland and I've not even been there, which is really bad.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
My family's from County Leitrim.
So you've both got Irish ancestry. That's fantastic.
Yeah, my
I never realised
grandmother was
that.
O'Rourke.
So what's your surname?
O'Rourke.
O'Rourke. Okay, I should have done a bit more research. Maybe on the next live, we'll go your family. We'll stick with the Donahue, but on the next live, I'm going to have to do some family history on your side. But I managed to lift the coat of arms for you and all the origins of where the family travelled from Ireland to America, and there's some history there. It goes back to the 14th, 17th century, and you can see it's County Kerry, which is what you're telling me. So it's absolutely spot on. Let's see if there's anything else we can do. Now, the migration to the United States, 1746, Philip Donahue, which could well be an ancestor of yours. I don't know whether you've done any family history, but...
I have all the paperwork on it. I haven't read through it in depth, so I can't tell you right off the top of my head, but yes, Philip Donahue.
Okay. So I'm just looking, some of us are saying it's a bit echoing, and it's probably me. I'm going to just try and change my sound so there's less echoing for our viewers.
Thank you.
If I put my headphones on.
Turn mine down just a touch.
Let's see if we can get this working now. I really wish my son Adam was still here with me because he would definitely fix this for me. But I'm going to try and do it myself. If you lose, okay. So what was that?
Is he back in college?
So he's back in college now, but he's been helping me remotely. But I'm going to see whether I can do this on my own. If I make it completely messed up, I'm going to turn down my volume to avoid the echoing, I think. So Jeff, while I'm trying to do the technical side, tell us a little bit more about your how you got into ball pythons and the history of you getting into reptiles while I try and take care of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys, if it's okay, I'll put you on the wide screen if I can learn how to do this. just bear with me a second. Oh, that's me. Sorry, let's try that one. Okay, now if I switch you guys out, there we go. While I try and sort this technical problem out, would you guys like to just give our viewers a bit of background as to how you got into the hobby, how you got into reptiles, and how you're quite rare. I mean, a couple doing it together is quite rare.
Yes. Yeah,
So
and we do everything together. We clean tubs together. I mean, feed together, clean rat tubs together.
Yeah, it's a
Everything.
complete team.
okay, well I've got James. Okay, this is interesting. So James is saying that my sound's okay. I don't do anything my end.
So it's
So
already. Okay.
I'm wondering actually whether I'm just trying to think if there's a way we can reduce the echo.
I wonder if we put that wind mic on.
Yeah. Now, are you guys using your computer or mobile to do this?
We're on the computer now.
You're on the computer. So there is one possibility is you might be able to reduce the echo with, I don't know whether you've got any of these at all, any earphones?
No, I just put the wind mic on. Does that sound any better?
Okay, we'll just do a sound check with our guests. So let's just see. James, can you let us know if the sound, do you guys talk as well? Let us know if you're getting less echo.
Okay. So we'll start out with how I got into the reptiles. When I was probably about 7 or 8, we my mom got a cord of wood, and inside that wood was a gopher snake. And I picked up the gopher snake, and I said, "Mom, can I keep this?" And she was very open to it. You know, we used to go on nature walks and go herping all the time. And so I kept it, and I had it for several years. And then I'm originally from California, and we were out on another hike and came across a California king snake. And I picked that one up, and of course, she let me have that one too. So growing up for probably the first 10 years, 10, 11, 12 years, I had snakes that were just caught in the wild and had them as pets. But one day my cousin brought over a snake for me, and I set it up in the enclosure, and I reached in and it bit me, and it scared me. And at that time, I was completely out of snakes. That was the last snake I owned. I was petrified up until about 3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago.
And
Okay.
so then, but I liked being able to see them. I liked looking at them behind the grass, and still no improvement.
Okay. Sorry to stop you, Jeff. I think we've still got some technical issues on the sound. I'm just asking our viewers if the sound quality. They're saying they're getting more echo, but I don't know whether it's my end. Maybe I've got too much sound my end. I'll try to reduce my sound down, and maybe your sound's coming through to me, and it's going through my mic. So I'm going to see if I can change this and get better sound quality if we can. So just bear with me a second. Okay, should we try that again? Let's see whether that helps now. Okay, so Jeff, back to where you were saying. Let's see whether we can get this sound working again. Okay. Okay, Jeff, I can't hear you at the moment, so I've got a good visual, but no sound at all. No? Okay. So we can't hear this side, Jeff. I'm just wondering if you can adjust your volume your side. Okay, sound switched on there. No, can't hear you. Okay. So Jeff, I can see that your sound is switched off there. So I don't know whether you've muted your... Have you muted it? Okay.
How about now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Well done. So let me just do a sound check with our guests and let's see. So sound check. Sorry about this, guys. We're going to get there. I'm sure we're going to get there. So let's just do a sound check. So do you guys want to do a sound check your end?
Okay. I'll continue on if.
Okay.
So I enjoyed looking at the snakes through the glass, but I didn't want to be face to face with it. I didn't want to be in contact with it. But I knew Angie had some experience with retics and carpet pythons. And so about 3 years ago, I had a brilliant idea of buying her a ball python for her birthday. I knew she could take care of it and I could just enjoy watching it. And so we did. We went on Wharf Market, found a ball python, and I knew nothing about them. The guy responded to me. He said, "Hey, she's a little bigger than a hatchling. She's, I think, 200 grams." And I said, "Oh no, that's way too big. I want a baby." And he was like, "No, she's still a baby." So we went and purchased her and brought her home, unboxed her, and she was in the bag. And I immediately handed it to Angie. I said, "She's yours." And so she put her in the aquarium and got it all set up. And Angie went back into the living room. Well, I snuck back into her office because it was in the office. And I put my hands in the aquarium and I just put my hands up under her and kind of picked her up and moved her across, set her back down. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just touched her." So, and that's where it started. I just started getting more confidence with her. And I was like, "I want another one." And I want another one. And it was just pets at the time. We had no plans of breeding.
Yeah.
And we started watching YouTube videos and said, "Hey, you know what? We start breeding." Well, at this time, we had a room of aquariums. I think we had 6 or 7 aquariums. So we were like, okay, well, now we need some sort of rack system. And it just went on from there and ended up getting the incubator. And we were like, okay, let's go ahead and start our first pairing.
I think that's
And
lovely. I think that's a wonderful, it's a wonderful beginning because Jeff and I have a very similar story. I was frightened of ball pythons as well, but I got into it with the help of my family, and now I'm a lot more confident and I'm enjoying it. And I think for many of us coming in for the first time, we get this idea, we think that snakes could bite us, and we're kind of a bit nervous. But when they actually settle down and you handle them and you get used to them, then
and you know, as everybody knows, ball pythons are so head shy. So every time she would jerk her head, I would jump, think she was going to bite me. And
Now, I think what my son Adam has just arrived on the channel, and he's given me an idea. It's a problem on my end. He said that the head sight might be out of the mic, so I think I've got to adjust something my end. So if you guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and speak to Adam and get my side sorted out.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys to continue to tell your story of how you're getting into snakes, and I will mute my sound so the echo doesn't occur. You guys should get a nice clear sound.
okay.
And then I'm going to come back in as soon as Adam gets me fixed up. I'm going to come back in. So you guys okay doing that? I'm sorry to kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
put it on you, but I think my technical problems tonight, I need Adam to sort me out because I'm not as technical as he is. So I'm going to just mute myself, and I'm going to leave you to carry on with the chat if that's okay.
That's fine.
So that was my story.
I got dragged in kicking and screaming. Like he said, he bought me my first snake and then had the idea, oh, let's get another one. And I'm like, okay. Not two's fine. Two's good. And then 2 turned into almost 40.
Yeah, we
almost
have one hatchling left for sale. So we're just right at 40 now.
And still building.
So
So
So we just picked up last Saturday during the live. We had to jump out of your live and go pick up our albino. So we just picked up albino last Saturday. She's sitting at about 600 grams.
yeah.
So she should be pairing for us, if not next year, the following year. We started out with hatchlings. We bought, I think, 2 breeder females. We bought a butter. She was a breeder female, and then
A phantom that was a breeder
phantom that was a breeder female. We had 2 males. We had our Mojave male,
and we had a pinstripe.
and we had a pinstripe male, and then we picked up the banana, and we paired the banana with the phantom last year and got 6 eggs and 6 banana combos.
Wow.
and he was a female maker, so they were all
All
females.
females.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so and that was our first clutch, and I mean we hit the odds, and they all ate first meal, and never had to assist feed a single one of them. To
They were
this
the
day,
best so far. They've been the best clutch. The second one was not so great.
yeah. And then the second one, we paired our Mojave to our butter. We wanted to hit the Blue-eyed Lucy. We had 7 eggs.
Yeah.
We hit 3
Three
bells,
bells.
and we hit 2 Mojaves and a butter and 1 normal.
One normal.
Wow. And this is only your second season breeding.
Yeah.
Yes, this 2022 is our
This-
second
We're
season.
starting our second.
Well, let me just come back to you briefly. We've got the problem is now sorted. Apparently, it was a problem on my end. Sorry about that. Do you know what I did? Adam was feeding me information on the live chat. I'm not sure if you can see the live chat, but he was saying,
Thank you,
"Dad,
Adam.
stick
Thanks,
stick your earphones on and plug in," because I was listening to you coming through my computer, but I've got a very powerful mic that picks up a lot of sound, and it's echoing. But when I can listen to you in here, your sound doesn't go back into my microphone and cause that echo effect.
Right.
So that's one thing I've learned. So if anyone's getting into live streaming, definitely get a set of these on the receiving end. So it's my problem. So my apologies for kind of...
No, that's
He
okay.
usually blames it on the blonde. So
Mrs. Donahue.
Mrs. Donahue.
Yeah,
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
yeah. So that's wonderful. Let me welcome some extra guests since we've been talking. We've got some extra guests joining the show, which is lovely. We want to welcome James Fitzpatrick, who's come in.
Good, it's James.
Hello, James.
So,
The
now he
DeVoreman
may...
family.
Well, he could well have some Irish ancestry with a name like that,
Yes.
you'd have thought, wouldn't you? But James and his wife Kaz are good friends of ours. And
James been with us from the beginning.
But from the very beginning.
has he been backing you guys as well? Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yes.
Oh, lovely to hear that. That's so nice.
We're
because-
rooting for them for everything that they're trying to pair and get going. So
They bought a couple of lovely babies off us this year. We produced a couple of het ultra males. They want to get into the ultra male gene, like I know you guys
there
are.
you
Because
go. We've got ultra male.
Yeah.
we've got so many similarities going on. You love your ultra male, we love our ultra male, and we've got other friends getting into it. And later tonight, if we've got time, and if you've got time, that is, I've done a little bit of research, and I wanted to discuss later on the program some of the recent news that's come out recently about the use of DNA testing on sheds.
Yes,
Yes.
I saw that the other night.
Yeah,
I think Chris put out a video. Hardwick.
he did, and
Yes.
I've gone into detail. I've got a slide presentation to break it down to
Okay.
try
Oh,
and
good.
make some sense of it. So if anybody wants to learn something new tonight, including myself, because this is all new to me, I just think there's some lovely new things that are going to help us as new hobbyists coming in. That's going to make our life a bit easier, because the problem with not understanding the genetics of our snakes is that we've got all these possibilities, and we can spend 3 to 6 years trying to nail these snakes.
Right.
Yes.
And we may not have the gene in the first place, and we think we might have it. And you've kind of put 7 years of effort into a project to find out it doesn't prove out. It's a lot of
Right.
work,
Exactly.
Right.
a lot of poo to clean.
Yes. Yes. And
I'd
I
rather-
was wanting to send in a shed because we have that ultra male that is
100%
supposedly 100%
Head
at sunset.
Wow.
So I don't know if they're working on the sunset DNA yet or not, but I want to send in one of his sheds.
That would be brilliant, because if you can get an ultramel sunset, that's going to be glowing at you big time. I mean, put that in clown and pied. Oh my goodness me,
Yeah.
what's going to happen to that?
We're getting the double hets this year. We're getting the ultra male pied hets this year with
Oh,
50% het sunset. So
Oh, I'm really excited about that project, because I'd love to see ultramel is a very bright gene anyway, but with sunset, that could absolutely go crazy.
right.
Exactly.
I know you've also got a beautiful girl. I was studying some of your videos, and you've got this beautiful girl that is actually a black pastel 100% het ultramel.
Yes.
Yes.
Cara Dwin.
Yeah, which is beautiful, because I've also wanted everyone to know that, if they don't already know that, but you name all your snakes after Irish names, which I
We
thought was
do.
Yeah,
which is
most of
beautiful.
Irish goddesses are,
Or God. Or
Yeah.
just, yeah.
you know,
I love
Except
that.
for Shirtan. Shirtan is named after our daughter because it's the Irish form of Jordan.
I think that's lovely. So later in the show, I want to go through a few of your names and try and explain to our viewers why you chose those names and the meaning of the names, because I think it's just really lovely to find out your journey. And the reason why you're doing it is because your passion for Ireland is there, because it's in your blood. It's
Yes.
in your.
Yes.
It's there, and I think
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yep. So we try to bring everything around our heritage.
I think it's fantastic. I love your model. Now we've got another new person that's just joined, which I'd like to welcome, who is Genie Reptiles. Genie.
Hello.
Hey, Jeannie.
So welcome, Genie. I'm sure he's got some magic going on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely name. So welcome to the show, guys. Really lovely to have you. And just going to go through, make sure I haven't missed any of our guests. Just bear with me a second. Pretty certain there are a couple of guests I might have missed earlier on while I was going through my technical problem. So Tavion's joined us. So welcome, Tavion, to the show. Thank you for being patient with us on the technical side. And also Kirsty's joined us. So let me give a shout out to Kirsty. Hello, everybody.
Kirsty.
So welcome to the show. Just going to make sure Ricky's joined the show. So welcome, Ricky.
Hello, Ricky.
And again, Ricky Mullane. Now, Mullane sounds very Irish to me. Am I right? That sounds like an Irish name.
It is.
Yes.
I think it is.
I think that's lovely. And I must correct myself. When I did my video this week, I forgot to involve Welsh in the Celtic ancestry, which slap. Because one of my viewers is from Wales, and he put me right. He said, "Don't forget us Welsh are Celtics as well." And I said, in actual fact, when I was doing the research on the names of your snakes, I found out that some of the Irish names came from Wales. They went from Wales to Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting.
Angie's also Scottish.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got some
Scottish
wonderful
ancestry.
Have you guys been over here yet or not?
No, it's on our bucket list.
Well, you've now got somewhere to come and stay with us because I run a holiday let business, and if you come over, you can stay with us, enjoy the snakes, enjoy going into London. So if you ever want to fly over and have a base to come, please feel free to
Absolutely.
To link with us.
So much.
Yeah. So let's have a little look and see. I'm just very conscious that I don't want to miss anyone out here. Make sure that we've got everyone included in the shout outs, which I think I have. So I think we're looking good. So let's Kaz has just joined us. Now this is James's other half, Kaz. She's been waiting for this all week. So Kaz Ben.
Hello, Kaz.
You know Kaz well. If James and Kaz have been following you too, you'll know them well. They're lovely people.
Yes.
Yeah. They're so lovely. And their family.
They're amazing.
Yeah. When we were backstage and you were talking about our sticker board, theirs is right there on it.
There featured.
Yeah, I've noticed on your sticker board that you need more space because
we do.
And I was just saying to Jeff, we haven't done a sticker swap yet, but we must do that. Jared takes care of the merch, and he'll organise. We'll Instagram each other's addresses and send some stuff out to each other because I just think it's lovely. It's part of the hobby and bonding with the community. I think it's a great move. And of course, Jeremy, you know well, and Jeremy's on the Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy's going to be on the show next week, so he says a big hi. So
he'll be watching.
He'll be in the hot seat.
Yeah, it'll be his turn.
Well, he's actually launched his own live show, you know.
Right.
And I've been watching his. Unfortunately, I don't. I wake up at about 2 or 3 in the morning with my hip, and if I can't sleep, I decide to go on the live shows, and it keeps me active when I can't sleep. And I try and get on as many live shows as I can, but I think the night that Jeremy put out his show, I actually had a good night's sleep. So I don't want Jeremy thinking that I'm not supporting him, but I'll definitely watch the show up the next day. But if I go through the night at 3 in the morning, it takes me nearly a week to catch up again because I almost feel like I'm jet lagged.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we've got Gershon. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here, Gershon, and thank you so much. Last week's show. Do you know how many people watched that show?
It was a lot.
I'm trying to remember what the count was as of today.
It's like right on almost 500.
Wow.
Almost 500. That's the best show we've had for a while. I'm telling you, that was just.
Gershon is great.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting.
I get nervous before every single one of these, and I am so discombobulated, and he made me feel so comfortable. So I was just like, okay, I can do this now.
Well, do you know what? If you guys ever think about going live yourselves, break your teeth out on Gershon will cut your teeth nicely, and Adam will cut your teeth nicely. And actually, you've already done a show. You've already done shows with them, haven't you? But now, if you ever think about doing your own lives, because
we've talked about it. Gershon keeps pushing us.
You guys would be great, honestly. I mean, and you would have my blessing because what I find, like with Adam and Gershon, they hosted me on their show, and I really enjoyed it. And the more shows you do like this, the more confident you're going to feel wanting to launch your own, because you'll hopefully enjoy the content, you'll enjoy the brother and sisterhood, you'll enjoy the community, and the whole thing gives you a chance to share your hobby with the outside world. Because let's face it, we can't, with COVID, we can't bring people into our homes as often as we'd like. And
Right.
let's use technology to pretend that we're both in each other's. And later, I'm hoping the internet signal wasn't that strong in your facility. It was there, but we didn't get the sound as clear. So we've gone
Right.
into the office to get the sound clear. But one of you have promised that you're going to show us a few snakes tonight,
We
which
will.
might mean that you're going to get a small workout between the rooms. But
That we could put them in tubs and bring them down.
okay, so we're going to be showing some snake candy, and I'm really you got some amazing snakes that you've got to share with us, and I'm really
Thank you.
looking forward to seeing them. And but let's go back to, if I may, I've got a few slides I want to share, which kind of will help us on our. It helps me because instead of me going to notes, a picture is 100 words for me. So if I see a picture, it will trigger me to discuss something with you guys. So that's
Okay.
my visual aid, if that's okay.
That's
So
perfectly fine.
I'm gonna go on to the. Let me see if I can do this now. Let's get my technology right. So that's cool. So we've got coming back to your family settling in America, and you've already explained to me that there's connections there.
Yeah, and we
That
have that. We fly that flag on our house.
The Donahue flag
Yeah, we have the Irish flag with
crest.
our crest in the middle that we fly on our
this one
house.
here. Wow,
Yeah,
you guys are wonderful. I mean, you love your family, and do you know what?
We
That's what
do.
it's all about. At the end of the day, it's all about enjoying each other, isn't it? And the snakes are part of your family because you've given them all Irish names, so they're part of the family too.
oh yes,
I love it. I absolutely love it.
yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to give you a taste of Ireland. Now I'm going to tempt you to the British Isles here now with some pictures which I really love. This is
That's
Dublin. I think
beautiful.
I've got my things right. I've never been there, but that is Dublin, lit up at night. This here is it's a pier called Dunquinny Pier. Beautiful beaches. You'll see our beaches are incredible, and our rock coastlines in the
Hmm.
British Isles are. It's the only place in the world, I think, that has like, other than parts of France and other islands, that
Yeah.
actually have chalk cliffs and sea. So the cliffs are chalky, and then you've got sea. Have you ever seen that in the US or anywhere else?
No, no.
It's it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So here's another place in Ireland,
Already.
yeah, and that's in the national park. So Ross
The
Castle, you
Ross
mentioned.
Castle.
Now, isn't that interesting? I should have bought the other temple. If I'd have had the temple as well, I would have been on the money because I had no idea that Ross Castle is where your ancestors actually came, and
Yes.
that is such an incredible story. I mean, and how far have you gone back on the family history? To have you?
So my dad is the one that put it together, and I believe he brought it all the way back to Philip. So
Okay,
I have everything from Philip forward to
okay.
myself. Yes.
That's fantastic. That's such a great pedigree and knowledge to know where you're coming from. Now, we do also have some questions coming. Kaz is going to
Okay.
pose a question. So I'm going to just show Kaz's question so we can get a mixture of understanding your background, your culture, and then I'm going to link that into the snakes. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of background to link this to the snakes. But Kaz has thrown a question which I'm going to share. Can I ask a question? Of course you can, for all of you. If you could go back and change one thing from your time in the hobby, what would it be? It's a good question, Kaz.
Oh
So
yeah.
let's put that
Wow.
to you guys, and I'll give you some time to think about it. I'll try and answer that question myself.
Put us on the hot seat there, Kaz.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna try and answer that myself. What would I do differently? I'll tell you what I'd do differently. I'd be much more careful who I buy from. When I
I would.
came into when I came into the hobby, I just thought that everyone keeps clean snakes, everybody has high
Um,
standards, everyone is honest and has integrity, and I just wanted to build a collection very quickly
Uh-huh.
because I was wanting to, like yourselves, to have a couple of breeder girls that could give me some clutches so I can learn what to do. I didn't
Hmm.
want to wait 3 years to learn how to set a clutch and lift a clutch. I wanted to have practical experience because Jared was the first to show me how to produce a clutch four
Uh-huh.
years ago. And I got super excited as I fell in love with the snakes. I thought, I want to do this. And I said to Jared, and Jared said to me, Dad, you're buying too many adult females. They're all single genes, and we need something with a bit more recessives going on here, you know. And I
Hmm.
said, well, hang on a minute. I'm learning, and I'm learning on a budget. I'm going to spend a little bit of money before I commit myself to make sure I
Yeah.
can do this. So, in my enthusiasm for building up a collection quickly, I took on board some snakes that were not what they were sold to me as. In fact, a couple of them actually came with problems,
Hmm.
and we had to deal with those problems. Now, I've learned a lot from them. One of them had mites, and it
Uh-huh.
went through the whole of our collection. And
Yep.
Jared and I took 8 weeks to clear the collection. This is about 3 years ago now.
Yep.
And since then, we've not had one, because it was such hard work to clean them and get them all out.
Yes.
Once we had a clean collection, you should see how careful we were in terms of, we've not had one mite since then. And I think it's because you go through this learning curve where you trust people. They're telling you that you've got clean snakes.
Right.
Yeah.
We had
we
the same issue. We bought from a friend who is also a breeder, and so we thought, oh well, we quarantined everybody else, but she's coming from a friend of ours. We know, it's going to be okay, and we didn't quarantine as much as we probably should have. And she gave mites to everybody in our collection, and it did. It took us
Oh,
forever to get rid of them. So it was like,
yeah.
never again. It doesn't matter if they're a friend or not. They're all getting quarantined and wiped down with the
Yeah, we use that front line.
front line.
Yeah. And this is why quarantine is so important, which James mentions. And
Yeah.
I think for me, when we've got in the early days when we got into this, I had my own collection in my bedroom, okay, which was about 20 snakes in my bedroom. And I learned an awful lot about what goes on in the middle of the night while you're sleeping. I can't blame the dog anymore. I can blame the snakes if someone lets one go. But I mean, those snakes, boy, do they let rip in the night. God.
Yeah.
I
But
had
then
my first experience with that.
okay, that's
I
interesting.
had never, ever, ever experienced that in my life. And we were up in the snake room, which we're up there every day. But I would have thought before, with all these years that we've had them, that I would have heard that. No, I kept looking at him going, what is that? She's dying in there. What the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they can do some funny things. And then the other thing that happened, I'm glad that you've had the same experience as me. Not because I wanted you to go through it, but I think the reality is if we're very transparent in the hobby, we get more issues than perhaps people are prepared to share because they're
Right.
worried that you're going to get like blacklisted for having mites and no one wants to buy a snake from you.
Some
But in
people are going to
reality,
judge you.
yeah, in reality, I think being transparent and saying 3 years ago we had a mite issue as a learner, brand new on this table, we've learnt to quarantine now, which is a really important thing. But
Yeah.
Jad's snakes were separate to mine, so his snakes didn't get mites. Emily had her collection and she was free of mites. It was only me that had the mite problem because I bought a beautiful bell that had eggs under its scales that I couldn't see that
Yeah.
hatched on me, and it spread through my small collection. And Jad helped me for 8 weeks to get that sorted. And I said to Jad, I never ever want to go there again. So
Yeah.
every single snake goes to quarantine now, and every single snake is carefully looked at and treated before it comes into the main collection. And that's why we've had 3 years of a clean collection, because I've learned from the experience. And sometimes we have to have a baptism of fire to learn that experience.
And what's funny is the guy that we got the snake from, we didn't even know we had mites. And he came over and he's picking up our snakes and looking at them, and he was like, "You guys have mites?" And we're like, "We do." And I guarantee he knew he had mites and he came over. I mean, it was probably only a month or two after we got the snake from him. And he was like, "Oh, you guys have mites?" Well, yeah, you gave them to us.
I think sometimes this is the problem: is sometimes people don't intend to give you mites, but
No.
if they,
No.
and I think these things can be in egg form and they could be under the scales, and a week or two later they hatch and they spread
Right.
like wildfire. I've never seen anything spread so badly, but we got on top of it, and and then we had another snake that came in with an RI issue. Thank goodness I had the mite issue first, because the RI issue followed that,
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh.
and that was in quarantine. So Jad and I were, I'll tell you how many months we tried to nurse that snake back to health. So what I've learned what experiences, these are challenges we face, but what we're learning is how to treat these animals, and it's part of the learning curve of being a hobbyist, is that
Oh yes, yes.
when you go through
We've
and you see these issues, then you have
yeah,
to learn how to treat. You've got to learn the symptoms, what causes it.
yep.
Is it husbandry? Have you imported the problem? And you work it through, and you speak to your mentors and other people that are helping you,
Hmm.
and you try and get through it. You know.
Right. And we fought some internal
Parasites.
parasites this year, and we got the medicine and we treated it and we're okay now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we had a couple that had some, I guess, worms, I guess you would call it, some parasites, and we got
So
those
how
taken
did
care
you?
of.
Yeah, how did you treat them, out of interest, Ben? And what was the symptoms that you saw?
That horse wormer, what I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember if it's the ivermectin or what it was.
Ivermectin
We've got a bottle of it upstairs that we
Yeah.
use,
and just a oral,
and it's a certain dosage per weight of the animal, and then
And
it's
how long
only
did that? How long did that take to clear and get better?
6 weeks.
Right. Okay. And so the symptoms are: do they give you diarrhea, or what's the
So
symptoms?
yes,
Diarrhea.
so they went off food, and that's not like our snakes to go off food. Our snakes
Yeah.
are very food aggressive. No, I wouldn't say very food aggressive,
They like their
but they
eats.
like their food.
I saw one of your feeding videos, and I'll tell you one thing: you got animals that want to feed. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, they like their food.
And
I tell you that's part of the Celtic blood, though, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
have you seen my belly?
I'm half Italian, so I love my food and I live for my food. I mean, in Italy, they live for their food, you see, and food is
Yeah.
so important that
But
like,
yes,
yeah.
the diarrhea was the biggest. That's when we knew.
Yeah.
So anyone that has a snake that's produced, for new people coming in that suddenly see their snake with diarrhea, it is treatable, and they go off. And it's probably good to presumably fast. They fast to try to get them cleaned up, so you don't feed them while they've got it. I'm guessing, and you just treat them with that. What was the?
Angie's running up to get it.
Okay, that's
It's
cool.
a horse wormer. Yeah, she's getting it. Some sort of medical term, a big old long name.
Okay, while she's getting that, James is posing another question: is there a gene you haven't got that you want in your collection?
There's actually two genes, and
Okay.
we just purchased it, so it's not actually in our collection yet.
Okay, so that's coming later in the year.
Yeah, so as soon as it warms up, we should be receiving them. And he's a powerhouse male. I mean, powerhouse. And so,
Yeah,
yes,
I just paid him off yesterday.
Okay, so
So
I imagine you guys want to reveal him on your video, so don't feel obligated to tell us, because
Yeah,
you
so
may
you
want
can
to.
you can tell if you want to,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be awesome when we open it.
so we
Okay.
picked up a pastel acid super blitz granite yellow belly. What else does it have in it? Acid blitz
It's an acid
Pastel.
pastel.
granite yellow belly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Acid is on my radar.
Yes. So
I wanted acid, he wanted blitz, and we were like, got the best of both worlds. So
and we actually picked him up from Jay Rolls, the one that introduced the acid.
Well, all I can say is that acid is wicked, and that gets into clown and other genes. I've seen how powerful it is. A recessive, isn't it? So it's not going to be easy to produce them.
No, it's codon.
Is it a codon?
Yes.
Is that right? Because they're expensive, they're not
Yeah.
cheap.
Oh yes.
yeah.
I mean, I was looking at the prices. I thought they were recessive, but they're actually a codon. Or
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
I'll
So
pull them up real quick.
that's lovely to hear. Thank you. So it's good
Let's
we
see
can
if I
learn
can
from each
show
other.
them the medicine.
Yeah, let me go
Right.
big on your screen if I may. I'm
It's
going to go.
albendazole oral suspension.
So if I go, let me see here.
Does
Let me
it
just.
help if I?
Yeah, I'm going to try and go big. Let me just
Okay.
see if I can get. There we go. Okay, so tell us a bit about it. So what is it called?
It's albendazole, and you take their weight times a certain milliliter, and then that's all that you give. You don't give any more than that, and then you run 2 weeks. Give them another 2 weeks. Give them another dose. Give them another 2 weeks, and give them another dose. They should be completely done by then, and we've not had a problem since we started doing it.
You know,
And
she's
how do
got-
you?
Yep.
Yeah, how do you administer it? How do you give it to your snake?
orally.
Orally,
So
we
it's like
do a little
a
syringe,
syringe.
and down the
And does it have
syringe
to
and down the
be?
throat.
Does it have to be diluted or does it come straight?
Just
It's
straight.
just straight.
Wow. And it takes how many weeks to clear?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, will you
She's
feed?
back on food. They're back doing
Yeah.
the things that they've always done before.
That's really
We
good to know.
are giving her the year off of breeding though.
Yeah.
So
That's-
she gave us the banana phantom clutch last year, and she just never really came back on weight. She would eat here and there, and we started pairing her, and then we noticed that there was something wrong, so we pulled her from the
The
cycle
rotation.
and the rotation.
Can
and
that
started
spread?
treating-
Can it spread to other snakes? Or
It
is
can.
Yeah.
It can. So we're really careful with getting them away from everybody else, proper hand washing, making sure that we're not cross contaminating anybody. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to become your own like vets and everything else when you learn. There's
Yeah.
a lot of research and going to our daughter-in-law, thank God, works. She's a marine biologist, but she's
A vet.
a vet tech. And so she helps with everything that we can possibly have a question on.
Do you know what? That's very helpful to have. I tell you, very helpful.
Here's
Oh,
that.
that's- Yeah.
Oops.
Is that the acid? Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
acid blitz.
Okay, let's see if I can go big on you guys again. Let me just see. There we go. Yeah, it's lovely. It's a lovely gene. I didn't realize it was a codom. It's actually a codom. I thought it was recessive. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, so you can run it straight through your whole collection.
I think that's a fantastic investment. So I'd say if Jared and I were going to get acid would be on our shortlist. Just to answer James's question, he said, what would we go for? And I think acid would be on there. I think the one I've got my eye on at the moment is a mahogany pied. It's what I want, a mahogany pied, because I want to go for
The darkness.
the Sumo pieds, but actually I've got 3 or 4 cinnamon pieds that I produced with Jared 2 years ago. They're almost up to size, and for the next season they need a stud male that I can put them to produce the panda pied equivalent without the kinking. So the idea
Right.
is the mahogany pied boy will bring us with the cinnamon pied girl. When you combine those two, and you can even go for a super mahogany, which is a suma, plus cinnamon gene on top to get even darker
Okay.
blacks. So you actually get 3 black genes in there with a white
Uh-huh.
snake. It could be rocking. I tell you, that could be a fantastic project without the kinking.
Right.
Right.
And then
You
throw
put two-
leopard into it.
Throw leopard in. There's so many other genes. We love leopard. So I think that would be a lovely project that we would love to get into.
Now, I believe my favorite in your collection, and I commented the other day on your video, is that calico.
You love that calico girl?
Oh, she is gorgeous.
Thank you, because we got her from the guy that gave me the mites, actually. I bought part of his collection. But she was clean. It was just one of the boys was carrying a problem. But that calico girl is an F&F line, and it's a very high white line. She gets better with every shed.
Uh-huh.
And she's eating aggressively. I fed them tonight, and she ate so aggressively. She's building, and I'm hoping she's got 10 mil follicles.
Okay.
I'm hoping she's going to give us. We put our beautiful Apollo, our super pastel banana orange dream,
Okay.
to her. We want to get orange dream into the calico. We
Uh-huh.
want to get the super pastel in there, and we want to get the banana in there as well.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that could be a very interesting
Yeah.
hatchlings.
Now
Could be
we
very
run the
interesting.
sugar line.
Yeah, we have sugar.
Sugar. Absolutely.
Right.
Now sugar's a very bright line of calico, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
similar to calico. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's oh gosh, what is she? She is
Bamboo,
bamboo, inchy pastel,
spider.
spider, sugar.
Yeah.
So she's all white, and she's got the bamboo line down the back, down the dorsal.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and her name is Grania.
No.
Caven.
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 Yeah, Grania's our super pastel.
No,
So-
Grania is ours. Yeah, super pastel ivory.
Sorry, it's Kevin. Now let me see if I can get. Now, hang on a second. Let me see if I can get a picture of her up because.
Now I can run and get anybody that you want me to show. So
Yeah, I mean, if you want, please do, because that'd be even better. Yeah, whatever you feel. Yeah.
You can grab Lou. You can grab Cave-In. Grab
Luke Haven.
Bridget.
Bridget. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, while we're going to have a look at that, let's just have a look and see any more people that have joined the chat. Yeah, there's a good conversation going on in the chat, guys. So that's really good. Yeah. Kirsty said that she loves albino, clown, and pied. Now,
Oh yeah.
you guys picked up an albino
We
last week, didn't
picked
you?
up albino last week. Yes.
Yeah. What did you go for? Straight albino, or have you got something
It's
with
just nothing but albino,
beautiful?
and we're to actually throw the acid into her.
Okay. Oh, that would be fantastic. I think because Gershon is putting black genes into his albino. You know what happens with the black gene going into an albino?
Right, because the reverse. Right.
So it's like a negative, isn't it? So if you put a black gene into an albino, the whites get even clearer white, and because the way it works, I'm not sure how it works. All I know is that we've got a black-head lavender albino, and he is very special. His patterns and colours, and it's quite rare. There's not many people who've got them. But the blackhead into albino is also very powerful. But if you're putting acid in there, that's going to be unbelievable.
So she'll actually have acid blitz. Well, if we hit everything, it'll be the acid blitz, granite, and yellow belly into her.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be absolutely insane. I mean, and how big is your pickup? How big is she?
So on the posting, she was 144 grams. So, in a couple of years, we'll be able to start put him to the albino. The albino, she's right at 600 grams.
So that won't take. I mean, that'll take a couple of years to get her up to size. So, but I mean, you've got to start. I quite like bringing on the hatchlings. It's a patient game, but we've got.
And that's what we did. We got the 2 breeder females, and everything else was hatchlings. We wanted to get to know our snakes. We wanted to enjoy what we're making in the future instead of just buying something that's ready to start breeding. We wanted that interaction with them.
Well, this is what I want to do as well. And also, believe it or not, we've got a couple of clown girls we bought last year that could go for us this year. One of them's just a couple of years old, but she's 2.2 kilograms. She's just an aggressive eater. She packs on weight. So even though sometimes we think it's going to be 3 years down the line with a girl, it doesn't have to be if they are, because some of these ball pythons, depending on what part of Africa they come from, some are genetically bigger than others.
Right.
Some grow quicker. Some just have, and I found by bringing on these hatchlings, we've fed them all the same once a week. No difference. We've given them good solid rat meals.
Right.
But some of them have just gone through the roof in their growth rates, and others are slower.
Oh, Caven's not in there?
I don't have Caven. I've got Grania.
Okay. So we'll run up and get Caven in a minute.
Okay.
So
Grania.
So this is our super pastel ivory.
Right, I'm going to go big on your screen now so we can have a look at her. So let me just see if I can do that now. I think that's the way to go. There we go. Okay.
And
she's
right
super
there
pastel. Yeah.
Super pastel ivory. And that is the only yellow right there on the crown of her head. Oops.
So what are your plans with her? Who are you going to put to her?
We have a highway male that she's going to the pastel highways.
Fantastic. Because Jared and I are also shooting for that project. We've got a super gravel girl that is up to size. And again, she's just about 2 years of age, but she's 2.2 kilograms.
Yeah. Now she is a year?
Yeah.
Just over a year. And she's sitting about 800 grams right now.
Yeah. So she's going really well. I mean, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
So we're doing a similar project to you there, but we've got a super pastel ivory boy.
Okay.
That we're going to put to super gravel to get the pastel highways as well. So we've both got joint projects. We're doing it slightly differently.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you work the highway? You work the highway, not the freeway then?
We work the highway, yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys working the freeway or highway?
Highway.
Highway.
Yeah, that's fine. Because you need the asphalt for the freeway, don't you?
Asphalt, yes.
Yeah. But you guys have got gravel in the other.
Gravel.
Yeah. Perfect.
And that's something else we wanted to get is a super gravel female.
Yeah. If you can get hold of one, They are beautiful animals. They look great in their own right. In fact, Jared's got a gravel het clown, pastel gravel het clown boy that he's decided to put to the super gravel girl because he wants to try and get a gravel het clown to put to another project. So you kind of switch things around sometimes. You change your plans partway through sometimes.
Going back to that one question of what would you do differently, I probably wouldn't get into so many recessives. But we're working 7 different recessives.
Wow.
So I mean, but a lot of them are hets. We have visual clown. We got 3 visual pieds, 2 visual ultramills, sunsets het.
Yeah.
We've
got albino.
DG's.
We've got
DG's het and visual albino. So it would probably be pick a couple recessives and stick with those.
Yeah, and I think what you can do is you can actually eventually weave them into each other. Some recessives go well together. Double recessives, triple recessives can be beautiful. And if you've got the clown and pied recessives, you can mix that with other recessives and produce some amazing animals.
Right.
So
yeah. So most of our collections this year will be hets.
Okay, now you've got an ultramel in front of you there, haven't you?
This is our big ultramel.
Wow.
And this is the one that's 100% het sunset.
He is a stunner, and he's up to size. So did you bring him on, or did you buy him as a hatchling, or what's the...
We actually bought him full grown.
So we have a video about it, and it's called Mystery at Celtic Balls. There were Ben Rennick. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, I read his story and I watched the court case. It was so sad. I saw the court case. Yeah.
So his snake headquarters is only about 2 hours from here.
Oh my goodness!
And
So
we got a phone call one day.
Yeah.
Saying, "Hey, I got this ultramel het sunset. Do you guys want them?" And we were like, "Do we want them? Absolutely, we want them." So, kind of looking back on time frames and that, looking back on some of Ben's videos.
They said he came from a big breeder.
Yeah,
They thought it was the one right there.
So we believe about the time he was murdered,
he would have been a hatchling.
Lou was a hatchling.
Okay.
So we believe this is one of Ben Rennick's offsprings.
Wow.
So we'll probably never know, but we like to have that mystery.
Yeah, we don't care. We're just happy to have him.
Yeah. And if he's got 100% sunset in there, I think it's beautiful. I'm glad that you've done that because I was really touched by the whole experience, and I didn't realize he was just down the road from you guys.
Yeah,
yes.
So you must have seen all the public news, everything. I mean, it must have been a shock to the community when that happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I think what I did is you can watch the court cases and people getting up, witnessing the murderer, everything's there. And you think, I've never seen so much transparency in a court case. You know, I felt like I was there just listening on thinking, my goodness me, what was going on there? It's so sad.
Yeah.
You know, but I think what you've done there is you put out a nice tribute to him on one of your videos, because I saw that you put a video about that, and I thought that was a nice thing to do. And a lot of other top breeders, actually, I was looking at some of the top breeders who knew him quite well. They gave a lot of love and a lot of support to the family as well that has to go through everything. I mean, it's horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
So we actually bought him as a female.
So that might be a blessing in disguise that he's turned out to be a male.
Yeah.
Right.
Because can you imagine, you've got your het female ultramel girl that's building.
Mm-hmm. So he's actually paired to our pied right now, and she's probably just within hours to a couple of days away from ovulating.
Fantastic. So you're going to have some double hets there.
So we'll have the double hets with possibility of the het sunset.
And Kerry Dwen, which is your black pastel het ultramel, in about a year or so's time, she might be big enough to go.
She'll probably be big enough to go.
Yep.
So she could be waiting in the wings for this stuff.
Oh yes. Yeah. So and then this is Bridget.
Now Bridget. Now tell me a bit about Bridget. Let's go large on you guys there. Now Bridget is a
Phantom banana.
Phantom het pied.
Yeah, 50%.
And her name means exalted one, apparently.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I learned. Yeah.
what we enjoy is the Phantom has taken away the freckles.
There's a few, but not.
She
as
has a
many.
few of them.
That's interesting. That's good to know. Yeah, she's pretty clean, isn't she? How big is she?
And she is
She was born in June.
Born in June, and she's about 600 grams.
She's doing really well.
Yeah.
She's a good eater.
But that whole clutch was good eaters.
Yeah.
And they're all girls. And how many girls did you get?
We had
6.
6.
And did you just keep back 1 or 2, or did you sell the rest? Or
Just 1 and sold 5.
One of them we did as a
fundraiser.
Yeah, we donated it.
Okay. And what were you raising funds for?
Somebody, I think it was a 3-year-old with cancer out of, I believe it was Texas, and a friend of ours, he's our mentor, Todd at TNT Balls. He was
I'm
doing the
connected.
fundraiser.
Yeah, I'm connected to
And
TNT
we
Balls.
said-
So yeah.
Take one of our new babies and we'll donate that.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing to do. Well done, guys. It's lovely to see people in the community reaching out to each other like that. I love that.
Yes.
This is more. It's much more than breeding snakes. This is so much more than breeding
Yeah.
snakes.
Yeah.
There's so much
Yeah.
more to it. There's like relationships, and there's helping charities and supporting one another. And I just think that you guys, your hearts are definitely in the right place. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I'll run up and
you
get
gonna
some more.
run this time?
Yep. I'll run this time. You talk to Angie.
Okay. All right. So
I'm
thank
gonna
you so much.
I'm gonna get Cave in the bamboo sugar.
Okay, that would be lovely. Now
They're
he's
going everywhere.
We got runners.
I'll get Carradwin, the black pastel head ultramel. What else do I want to show you my clown. Remember when you and Adam were live, you guys were talking the Inchy and Blade.
yes.
I want to show you him. Now we bought him as just a regular clown, but he came from a Inchy Blade pairing.
Okay.
And I want to see what your thoughts are on him.
We'd love to see him. Yeah, we'd love to.
Now, see, our problem is I cleaned like 40 snake tubs this morning, and we took all their names off of them, so we're up there flying blind trying to find snakes.
I can relate to that because Jared and I have just computerized all our name tags, and I've got glasses for a reason because I can't see small print. So Jared has got all these codes on all the tubs so he can use his mobile phone to record everything. And I said to Jared, that's all well and good, but I used to be able to, he used to be able to read the name on the tubs. I can't read them now. So when I'm feeding, when you're feeding, certain animals come out real fast, and you've got to be wary of that. Now I can't remember where they are, so of course I used to read their names and go in with a hook if I had to. And
that's how he is.
Yeah, there's so many times where I've gone to feed a snake not knowing what's behind that rub because I can't remember. I had a big name on each rub, and Jared took it off, and I've got this small code I can't read. So I've come very close to being hit, I tell you, by a couple of big girls wanting to pound. I'm thinking, my goodness me, that was close.
He will open the tub with a hook from way back, and I'm the one getting up there throwing the rat in.
It's a good sign because if you have to do that, it means your animals are really healthy
They're
because
ready.
they've got a
They're
huge
good.
feeding instinct. That's such a good sign that if you have to be wary when you're feeding, it's a good sign.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good sign. We can welcome a couple more people to the show. We've got, you might know these people here. So
I do, Diego.
Yeah, Diego. So hello, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us tonight. A few people have had to go to bed. So Jared, my son, is gone to bed because over here in the UK it's just gone 11 o'clock. So I want to just have a look at, if I may, just share a few more pictures with you while we wait for Jeff to come back because it kind of does trigger our. Let's see where we are. So Ross Castle we're on, and then I was going to show you some other beautiful places. So the Game of Thrones did some filming in a place called the Dark Hedges in Amoy.
Oh,
So you can see how beautiful that is.
that is gorgeous.
And you've got the Cliffs of Moher, so that's really pretty. And I'm going to just show you the full picture of that. I thought that was... So Ireland's got some wonderful coastline, and it's got some beautiful places to visit.
We want to come so badly to Ireland, especially like my family's from the northern section. and they came over on the Rip Van Winkle and went through Ellis Island there in New York. So I've got that history and his history. So we definitely want to come over.
Definitely. And I want to go as well because there's some very good salmon fishing in Ireland, and I'll take my fly rods with me as well to visit these places.
You know, I said we'd been married probably about 3 years. Probably about 3 years. And I said, oh, he finally said the 3 words I have been waiting to hear. And my mom goes, he hasn't told you he loves you yet? And I said, no, Mommy. He said, let's go fishing.
Oh,
So
it's good.
yeah,
It's good.
we do love to go fishing. I don't look like the type, but I do love my fishing.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll have to get some fish. There's quite a few people out there that enjoy fishing as well, so we're going to have to plan some fishing trips as well.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to say goodnight. James is saying goodnight
Good night,
because
James.
it's
I
quite
know
late here.
they
Yeah.
had a late day today. They had some
Yeah.
stuff to do, so I'm glad they got to show up.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and joining us on the show, James and Kaz. And of course, we'll finish
Good night,
the show.
Kaz.
The show will be available tomorrow as well, so you can watch the second part tomorrow. If anyone needs to go to bed, please don't feel obligated to stay up because over here it is quite late, and I appreciate also when you've got children waking up early in the morning. You want to get a
Absolutely.
few Z's, otherwise you could have a grumpy day on the Sabbath if you're not careful. But that's lovely. So now Jeremy's got a comment to make here. What's Jeremy saying? You look like you can fish with the best of them, I
I
think.
can.
So what kind of fishing do you like? What's your style of fishing?
You know, we're the type. Now he used to do a lot of fishing. He's lived everywhere. Alaska, all that place.
Patrick, welcome to the show. Lovely to have you,
I've been
Patrick.
working on a special treat for you. We have one snake that nobody wanted to handle. No one. And I've been working on handling this snake just so I can like shout it out to you. So
Okay.
he's always so complimentary to all of us in this community, and he yeah, we want to give back a little. So
Absolutely. No, we love Patrick. Patrick has got a heart of gold, and do you
he
know
has
what?
a wonderful heart.
Yeah, he's so well connected in the industry, and I know he's building his collection, and he's doing really well. And I think he's just got over, or he's still working through COVID himself at the moment. So hopefully, Patrick, that you're on the mend and you're getting some normality back in your life. But we've been thinking about you, and thank you so much for joining us on the channel. So now I'm going to pass some time over to Jeff, who's going to show us some snakes. Let's have a little look and see.
So this is our female GHI Mojave.
I've seen her bowl wrapping and having a jacuzzi at the same time.
Shirt on.
She is gorgeous,
Yeah,
absolutely
and
gorgeous.
she is being paired to the banana this year.
Oh, beautiful.
So
She's
try to
got
make some GHI Mojave bananas.
Yeah, she is a stunning example of the GHI gene. Look at that hooking on that dorsal. She is beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
So in there you've got Mojave, you've got GHI,
Just in her, just the GHI Mojave.
just the two genes, and she's
Yes.
producing that kind of that beautiful.
Yes.
And have you got any idea whether she's building follicles with the bowl wrapping?
She's building, but we don't know where she's at. She has locked twice now.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't lock last week because they were both in shed.
Okay, well that's fair enough. I actually think last year we had a clutch that just locked once, and it was my het pied girl to Apollo, my
Okay.
super pastel banana orange dream,
didn't
and
bring
she
it up
gave
for her.
us I think she gave us 6 eggs, and it was only one lock. So I
Really?
think sometimes we kind of think that we've got to put in the animals regularly, but I actually think that sometimes it's putting in 2 or 3 really good locks at the right time can make the difference, you know. So I've actually changed my breeding pattern this year. Rather than doing every month, I'm actually checking the follicle size, and I'm going to pick the right time, I think, to put the male in, because last year I put the males in every month, and I wore out a couple of my males
Yeah.
by actually overbreeding them without realizing it, and I've had to rest them this season. Thank goodness I've got some lovely studs coming up. Otherwise, we'd have a problem with our males. And I'm now,
We have enough males right now to breeder females that one male goes to one female, except for a leopard. He is going to 2.
Yeah. Now Jeremy said that he produced a banana GHI Mojave.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
So
beautiful.
that's yeah,
Beautiful.
that's inspiring. When you have friends that are doing it, it kind of eggs you on a little bit, doesn't it? You think, cool, that's so gorgeous. I
Oh,
wouldn't mind
yeah.
having
Yes.
one of those in my
Yes.
collection.
Yep,
So, but Jeremy's got some amazing snakes as well.
he does.
He absolutely does.
You know,
Yeah.
he's. I'm looking forward to seeing his collection next week. But now you've got something very special there, which is your Enchi clown.
So we call him an inchy clown. He was sold just as a clown,
Yeah.
But like we said, his parents
but
were Inchy and Blade.
oops.
So I've got an Enchi clown girl, and she is very similar to what you have there. So I would say that she's got Enchi personally, and she's probably got Blade as well.
You think both?
She might even have Blade,
Yeah.
because Blade apparently has a very thin dorsal, and quite high. You know, it's quite a reduced pattern as well. You might have both in there.
Okay. So we've put him to a female this year, but he is not locked.
He's not done his thing.
Do you know, I know the feeling, because we've got a beautiful dreamsicle boy. We've got this lovely dreamsicle boy that we are looking forward to getting into the genes. And he's about 12 to 1500 now. He's only about a year and a half old.
Uh-huh.
And he hasn't locked to his woman. I've got this dreamsicle girl, and you know what? I'm sure many of us out there are experiencing this. It's quite frustrating.
That's like our little Callum.
But do you know what? I have this feeling that we just got to be patient, and they'll learn.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get it. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes a snake will do things when it wants to do it, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
can try to make sure all our parameters are as perfect as possible. But sometimes if they don't want to go, they won't go, and you just got to be patient and have maybe a backup boy standing by in case by the end of the season doesn't want to go. But
Yeah.
I know
So
there's a top.
we
yeah.
ended up throwing a banana or a leopard het clown in.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah. So
So
we-
you've
we-
actually
yeah, we've kind of given him a break, and like you said, when he goes, he goes.
yeah.
So
Well, that's really good. I mean, I think that's a really good policy to have, and I think the backup male I had last year that gave us that clutch. Had I not put that backup male in, we would have no clutch.
mhm.
And it was a surprise clutch because she was under her hide, and I opened up her hide to clean her, and she sat on 6 eggs. I didn't
Oh,
even know
wow.
that she went through an ovulation, or
Uh,
she was. Like, it's lovely when you get those surprises, isn't it? It's like when you're not expecting it, you get a surprise clutch, and you go,
Yes.
think, "Oh wow, that's cool."
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, this is one of my favourites. 'Cause I've got a picture of this snake on my slideshow because this is actually me. The genes in there are spider, which I love,
uh-huh.
bamboo, which I love because I've got a bamboo girl.
Yep.
You've got pastel in there,
Yep.
and I think there's one other gene. Let me just check.
And sugar
Sugar.
That's
Inchy.
right, the sugar and Enchi as well.
and inchy, yes.
My goodness me, that's a powerful animal.
Yeah. So she should be ready. Not next year, the following year.
Well, Kirsty thinks it's absolutely beautiful. So
Thank
thank you,
you.
Kirsty. And I looked at it when I saw your video. I fell in love with that animal because I just thought it reminds me a little bit of this year we've got 2 spider banana het clowns,
Okay.
and I just love the spider pattern. It's just amazing. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's your
I love
plans?
the spider gene. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people shy away because of the head wobble. She does not have head wobble. We have
We have one that does.
we have 3 spiders, and only one has a head wobble.
Well, Patrick reckons it's super dope.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Jeremy reckons that he wants you to put an Exantic down the line in that.
I
case.
know. Jeremy, we're already running 7 recessives. I don't want another one.
Out of interest, who are you going to put to her? Who are you going to pair to her?
I don't know that we've thought of a pairing plan for her.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
I'll be tempted to get it into Clown because have you seen what Clown does to that?
We do too, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think Clown would be amazing with her.
Because I've seen what bamboo clowns look like. Spider bamboo clowns with your sugar and Inchy in there could be insane.
We could put Callum, the inchy
Right.
clown, with her.
Yeah.
If you did that, you're taking a longer term view on it because you're going to still produce some amazing codoms and amazing animals, but they're going to be het for Clown. And then the next time you breed with that het clown, can you imagine what you're going to get?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I can't imagine it. I'm getting excited about my banana spider clowns, but you've got
And
like
I
an extra.
love her head stamp as it is. I mean,
Well,
she has,
yeah, and it's the spider and the Enchi that does that.
yeah,
Yeah,
the spider head stamp. Yeah,
Yep.
it's absolutely beautiful.
yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing her with us because she's one of my favorites. Which kind of leads me on nicely now because I'll see if I can find. I'm going to see if I can find my picture of her.
And then here is
Yeah.
the black pastel head ultramel.
Oh, she's out of shed. The last time I saw her, she was in
Yes.
shed.
Yep.
I love black pastel, and that
Yeah.
is an absolutely gorgeous girl. And she's
Now
100% het for ultramel. Yeah.
yeah, and head ultramel. Now black pastel and cinnamon, they're the same pretty much, aren't they?
So black pastel and cinnamon are the two separate genes, but they lie on the same allelic. They're both allelic, which means that you could produce. I'm trying to remember what's right because we thought we had a black pastel girl. It turned out to be a cinnamon girl.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's two different lines.
It's two different genes, but they're on the same allelic.
Okay.
So, like you've got, for example, clown and cryptic are
Mm-hmm.
two separate genes, but they're on the same allele.
Gotcha.
They're called allelic.
Mm-hmm.
And you've also got things like Mojave and, say, butter.
Right.
They're on the same
Yeah.
allele, but they're two
Or
separate
the yellow
genes.
belly and gravel.
Yeah. So you've got all these families that are on the same allele, but they actually produce. Potentially, you could produce. Trying to think how it works now. I'm trying to get my genetics right here. But they are very similar. Jad and I found it hard to differentiate between cinnamon and black pastel, but there is a difference.
If you want to.
I
You
don't
can
know.
grab
I
more
got-
if you want.
What do you want me to grab?
Just whatever.
Oh, it says that Jeremy just said that cinnamon and enchi are also on the same allele. They're allelic as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now we've got Kurtwood 75's just joined us. So welcome.
Hey, that's our brother.
Yeah. Now he's got some really cool stuff as well, hasn't
He
he? So
does.
are you guys connected to them as well?
Yes. Now we've been live with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he keeps telling us, "Come back, come back." And he knows if we go live with him, I don't get any sleep, and then I call in sick the next day because
Okay.
they go all night long.
Okay.
But we meet with him at Tinley every year. He lives
Yeah.
up in the Chicago area.
Oh, that's lovely. I've watched a couple of your shows where you've taken the cameras into the shows. I love
Yeah.
it. And you've been hitting some big names, Justin and others that you've been
Oh
videoing.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's great. We
yeah.
definitely want to come up. I've never been to a show, but I'd love to come and visit some of the shows.
Well, you have a place to stay.
Thank you. And how far are you from the shows to where you live?
Tinley is 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Arlington every year. That's down in Texas. That's 8 hours.
Okay.
And then we're going to hit St. Louis this year also, and that's only 4 hours.
That would be fantastic. So you're in a good position to get to these shows then. You're not
Yes.
too far at
Yep.
all.
Yep. We hit Chicago twice last year. We hit Schaumburg. So we went Schaumburg down to Arlington and then back up to Tinley all
Yeah.
last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are your plans for this coming year? Are you going to go to some more shows or?
So in March, actually we're live with Petsotics
Mm-hmm.
March 17th. And then the
Okay.
next morning we're driving out to go to Tinley. And then that's in March. And then we'll be down to Arlington. I don't know what date that is yet, but we'll be down in Arlington. And then St. Louis is pretty much the closeout of the year.
So there's quite a few shows. And of the shows, have you got any favorite shows that you love to go to, or have you?
It would probably be either Tinley or Arlington. Like you said, everybody shows up to those shows.
Yeah. So you're seeing
Yeah.
all the personalities and all the people that we're connecting.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually getting very strong ties with the US and Canada right now,
Uh-huh.
and it's through multimedia. So although I'm in the UK, when we
Right.
can travel safely and visit these places, I'm going to know
Mhm.
quite a few people when we walk into the show, which is going to be part of the fun.
Now you're Billy or you're Justin over in the UK. That's Gavin, isn't it?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of really good breeders that are quite big on the YouTube front, and Gavin at Balls to You is one of our big breeders, and
Mhm.
he's got a very good reputation here, not in the UK, but also he's got some great relationships with the US and Canadian breeders,
Uh-huh.
and he's building up quite a strong community within his channel, and I think he's doing Patreon and other things, so he's going really strong. We've got some other big YouTube players. So we've got a friend of mine, Rich, what's called Predator BP. He's just
Right
renamed his channel.
now, Constrictor Kai.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
So he's just relaunching. I think he's following in Justin's footsteps of relaunching. But, so he's quite a big player. I think he's got quite a few views. So we've got some really big players out here that are actually on the YouTube channel,
Yes.
which is lovely. But I think in the US you seem to have a lot more. So when I was doing my live show last year, I found I wasn't connected enough with the UK breeders to do many lives. But most of all three of my lives have been with the US so far. But Kaz and James are going to join me, hopefully, I think in February or March.
Oh, that'll
and
be
I'd like to
awesome.
see some of the UK breeders connecting with us, and we can have sharing our community. I think it'd be nice to build here as well. But
Yeah.
I'm finding it's easier to kind of connect with the US at the moment because I don't know why. I just think that as a whole, the breeders in the US are much more. I think a lot of you are into your YouTube channels a lot more. The multimedia seems to be a little bit ahead of us.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. Except for us. I mean, we have YouTube, but it's not
Well, you've got a fantastic YouTube channel. I've really enjoyed watching your films. It's been beautiful. Showing us your techniques and teaching us and showing us your collection. And I think it's like anything, isn't it? The more you practice, you get better and better at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, Angie has, we picked her up about a year ago, and we have not been able to handle her. She was one that you opened up the tub and she was striking out at you.
Okay.
But Angie just said, you know what? I'm going to reach in and just grab her. She's worked with her for almost a month now. So she wants to show her off.
It's oh yeah, but she's not so striking now. So you're taming her up
no.
nice.
No, she's lovely. She
Now
is Spider. So
Yeah,
she's the one that has the head wobble, and
Yeah.
she's Orange Dream Spider.
Orange Dream
pastel.
Spiders
Yeah.
and Pastel. Beautiful animal. I mean, she's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
But you opened up her tub and she was taking your hand off every time.
I can see you've lovingly helped her get socialized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I get her out about every day for about 10 to 15 minutes just to love her and let her kind of get socialized.
yep. OD Bumblebee. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. Now we owe Patrick a hat. We haven't got round to sending him a hat yet because Jared takes care of the merch.
Okay.
And his family just got through COVID, and then we've got Patrick that's got through COVID. And I think now that once we're all clear, there's no excuse for not shipping out to you guys. So I should be. We've got our busy tax return period at the moment, so it's like full on 16-hour days, and we're just doing a whole month of tax returns. So my YouTube channel's gone to 2 videos a week at the moment because I don't have the time when I'm so busy in the practice. But when that gets through, I've got a week's holiday fishing to get over my tax return period, and then we're going to get back into making more films.
Yep. I'll tell you that one picture you showed the other day with that. I think it was a salmon that you were holding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that was beautiful.
Did you like that?
Yes.
I think I've still got. I've got a couple here. I'll just show you the one. Just bear with me a second.
You'll have to run and get the other
Okay.
whatever.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Now, what type of salmon is that?
So that is an Atlantic salmon,
It's Atlantic salmon. Okay.
and this one weighed in at 35 pounds plus.
Wow. Now, do you just do catch and release or?
Yeah, sorry, that one weighed in at 35 pounds plus, and I caught that from my local river, the Hampshire Avon, on my birthday 3 years ago.
Wow. And
What a present.
Do you do catch and release or do you bring them home?
That's a catch and release because
Catch and release.
the salmon are quite a rare species now. I mean, there used to be a lot more through the rivers, but over the years, in the old days, they used to knock them on the head and eat them. Now we can catch them with the fly rods, we can catch them in different techniques, but we nurse them back and they go back and they carry on. But we do it so they can spawn, so they can build up the populations.
Right.
So we treat them with so much care. Honestly, they are just so precious to us that we make sure they release them nicely and then they spawn. And the males, the Atlantic salmon males, only about 2% of them make it back to the sea.
Right.
And 10% of the henfish make it back. But they've got an amazing journey, what they have to go through. They can leap 6 feet up in the sky. I mean, they're an amazing game fish. I mean, and I have a channel in my name called Paul Greenacre where I video all my fishing.
Okay.
And I have underwater cameras when I release them, so you can see the salmon going off, and you see me fighting, and how the fly comes round, and the salmon takes it, and I'm fighting this salmon with a 15-foot two-handed salmon rod. I mean, it's just, it's my outlet. We all need outlets, and snakes is an outlet, fishing is an outlet. Have you guys got any other outlets besides the snakes?
The gym.
The gym.
Yeah.
It's a good
we go
outlet.
5 days a week.
Yeah. The gym, snakes, cooking. We love to cook. We call ourselves chefs. We're home chefs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay,
Kurt. Yeah, thank you for dropping in, Kurt, and we'll catch up with you again sometime. Thank you so much.
Much love, brother.
Love you, brother.
Yeah. And also we've got here. Once you tame her, Angie, I'll send you. Oh yeah. So Jeremy's got Xena, which is actually his carpet girl that he videoed her the other day, and I was watching him, and he's got 2 carpet girls. They're very similar size. One of them's very tame. The other one is.
Now, I believe Jeremy said, wasn't he to breed the carpets?
I'm not sure if he's planning to breed them, but all I know is that I think he wants Angie to pop over just to tame his girlfriend.
I started out with carpet pythons. That's how I got over my fear
of
snakes, and when I was teaching, and so after that, I was like, I'm cool with balls. I got this.
Absolutely. And I think I've never got into carpet pythons, but I was watching Jeremy's, and they are gorgeous colours. Have you seen the patterns of colours on them? They are so gorgeous.
I've got one picked out that I'm going to get.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if Jeremy can tame Xena and get her under control, she's got another beast of a girl there, because that would be fantastic.
Yeah. We have one more that we have not tamed down yet, and she's the same way. She'll come out at you as soon as you open that tub.
Sometimes I can handle her, and sometimes she's a little iffy, but it's her mood.
Okay.
See some videos. Absolutely.
Patrick is he wants you to make some more videos of your collection. He loves your collection.
Yep.
And also Jeremy's saying that he's planning to breed Xena in 2022. So
good.
Okay.
That might tame her down a little bit, maybe. Just you better send that boy in with some armored helmets and things. You better send that boy in really carefully. If you're going to send in a boy to her, I tell you, she'll eat him alive.
And we might have to buy one from you.
Yeah. I want one.
Okay, well, you've got a customer here, Jeremy, if you get one.
I'm going to go get one more.
Oh, he meant 2023, I think. He's planning 2023. Okay.
Do you want this?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
He's going to get one more.
Jeremy said that he held her yesterday, holding her for the whole video. That's fantastic.
Oh, right.
Without the gloves.
Without the gloves. Well, he moved the spicy one today, and he goes, I said, you reached in and grabbed Rhiannon? And he goes, yeah, I had gloves on. I was like, okay.
Oh, let's have a look and see. I know my slideshows help me remind me what to talk about here, and I'm not even got onto it because there's been so much natural chat going on, which is lovely. But I've got to try and get myself back on track, and the only way to do it, you have to excuse me. The only way to do it is to get onto my slideshow. So, there we go. Good things to come.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I'd share a few things that I'm sure you guys get Guinness over in the US, don't you?
We do get Guinness. We used to be able to get Guinness Black, and we cannot get Guinness Black anymore. They won't import it.
Okay. What else have I got here? Oh, now talking of Enya. Now you've got a snake called Enya.
We do have a snake called Enya. Hers is actually spelt different. Hers is Eithne, but it's pronounced Enya.
Okay. Now, I love that name because when I was growing up, I used to love this singer. You know, you've heard of Enya.
Yeah, Orinoco Flow.
Yeah. And I've been listening to some Enya music while I was preparing for tonight, and I think get she's got some amazing music, and if it wasn't copyrighted, I'd share a bit with you. But you can get free on YouTube if anyone wants to check her out. The very best of Enya. There's 10 top tracks that you can go and enjoy her. But she's got some very amazing, soothing music.
Got her?
Yeah, I got her.
You want my gloves?
No. Here's
Okay.
She's the spicy one that bites.
Okay. Now,
Get her?
now, what's her name and what have we got there?
This is Rhiannon,
Mm-hmm.
and she's the one that we've had her since she was little. We got her from a couple of girls that had her, and they were scared of her. And so we bought her and took her in, but she's had a rough go from the get-go. Did you want to sit, babe?
And she is a
Vanilla shout out.
vanilla shout out.
Okay, so what's a vanilla shout out? Tell me
So
what's the...
it's vanilla, fire, and super pastel.
Oh, she's lovely. I love vanilla. I've
Yeah.
got some vanilla in my jeans. In
Now
my
I wear
collection.
gloves when I hold her.
Good time to bring on Jeremy's point. He was wearing gloves with his skill the other night as well. So.
I'm trying to show her head.
Yeah, she's wanting to hide her head, but you can see
Yeah.
she's super pastel, super blushed.
So she needs, like you say, a bit more socialization, do you think?
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that she's actually coming out and showing herself briefly is I find with socialization it's little and often, isn't it? Little and often.
You
and
want
you
my
can
gloves?
No, I'll just take her off.
I've got a few hatchlings that we haven't handled very much this year, and I'm finding when I'm cleaning them, if I spend a few minutes with them, just letting them
Yeah.
explore me,
Yeah.
each time I do that, they get more and more accustomed to me, so that when they become adults, they're going to be more used to me as well. So the socialization's important when they're young, I think.
Yeah, and that's one thing we do is we handle all of our hatchlings. So when we do sell them and go out, they're docile.
See, my feeling is that each snake has a personality and feelings and different personalities, and the more we can do, besides producing wonderful morphs, we've got to also bring out the best of their personalities, so that people that buy our snakes will have hopefully sociable snakes. Because some of them are going to be brand new in the hobby, some of them are going to be not used to handling snakes.
Yes.
If we can handle them a little bit before they go, I think there's a much better chance of the new owners getting a nice transition because
Yes.
they'll be used to being handled. And it's hard to do that with big collections, but us small hobby breeders, because we love handling them anyway,
Right.
I think people buy snakes from us, but they're not only going to get beautiful morphs, they're going to get hopefully beautiful personalities that go with it.
Yep. If you buy a snake from us, it's
Held from the beginning,
it's held from the
Yeah.
beginning and has no problem.
getting
Yeah.
their head rubbed or anything.
Yeah. We try and get them over the head shyness and everything.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing so many beautiful snakes with us tonight. And I know it's been a little bit of a journey from one room to the other, but we
It's
do
okay.
appreciate
Tomorrow's
it.
leg day. We're good.
I was just saying to Angie that I've got my little slideshow that kind of is a prompt for me to ask questions and things. So I'm going to just get us on the...
Okay.
And there you go, Kelvin Bamboo Sugar Spider. It's not the best picture, and the live picture that you gave us was so much better, but I wanted to bring her up as well. And
Yeah.
and there's even a family history for
Yeah.
Camping Family. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the Black Pastel Ultramel. Now,
Yeah.
Yes.
you've got your Black Pastel 100% hair Ultramel.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
We
Yeah.
fell in love with the black pastel and the ultramel together, so we were like, we
Yeah.
definitely know what we're doing here.
They are beautiful, beautiful animals, and you get clown into that as well. Can you imagine
Yeah.
clown pied Black Pastel?
Oh, yeah.
That's just going to be insane.
Yeah.
And this one I have to show you because really this is one of your. And I was going to ask you about your future visions, but
Yeah.
this one here is a clown pied banana enchi ball python.
So our banana male will be going to a visual pied next year. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to hit at least the banana pieds out of that.
That's what I was thinking. That's the banana pieds are a lovely project, and we're shooting for some of those as well.
Yeah.
But I think once you've got one, and if you can then take it onto the clown and bring the clown
Oh
into
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got the enchi. So this one's got enchi clown, and you've got your enchi clown blade boy. So
Right.
you've got all the ingredients. It's just a question of getting all your
Yes.
building blocks in place. But I mean, I think it's exciting. I look at that and I think that's a very, very beautiful project.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why I love Morph Market Calculator. you look at a snake and you're like, okay, if I buy this, what can I put with it? What do I have in my collection right now? And you just type in the genes and, you get your list.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love it too. And because I'm an accountant, what I do is there's a technique of actually pinpointing the projected income from each clutch.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So if you use that genetic calculator, it gives you all the genes.
Right.
If you copy and paste it into an Excel spreadsheet and then you work out your numbers, your statistics,
Oh,
and you work out the value of each snake, you can project on using odds the
okay.
anticipated value of your clutch, because when you're deciding on projects, you go with the genes that you want, but also because you want to reinvest the proceeds into high-end genes.
Right.
Part of the hobby, for me anyway, is trying to work out what I can produce that will generate enough income to keep everything happy and for us to reinvest in. So I want it to be, we're 3 years in and we're about breaking even right now.
Uh-huh.
And the reason is because we've just built up to 160 animals. We've got quite a big food bill. We've got
Yep.
a separate facility. It's costing us money. It's probably costing us like a couple of grand a month just to keep everything
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
So you need to be looking at 24,000 in revenue just to break even.
Mm-hmm.
But the second and third year, you find once you get past your third year, because your animals are mature, they're going to double the size of the clutches. So you go from say 5 to 10 in a clutch, and your genes are going up higher as well. That the value of the clutches will double in value because you've got twice the clutch size, but they could double again because the genes that you're putting in are worth twice
Right.
as much. And then you sell those, and then you've got projects that you want to get into, but you haven't got the money to get into. You actually use the snakes to finance your future growth.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the name of the game. If you can do that, then the money that you've invested initially will grow exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to use the calculator to help me project my business plan forward, how I'm going to project forward on the clutches, how we're going to generate income. Obviously, the odds gods. Now that reminds me, because you guys have got the luck of the Irish. So your odds, the Irish have got good odds. I mean, like I need to find that picture. Where's that picture? We need to have that on here. Let me see if I can find it. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need the luck of the Irish. So yeah.
And
Now-
we're actually coming up with a new logo right now with the clover in it.
Yeah, we've got the Triquetra one and we've got the Celtic Cross one, and now we're doing another one that's going to be brought in.
Now that's a really good point, because I noticed on your T-shirt, Angie, you've got a slightly different logo to the one on your
Yeah, we
YouTube
have-
channel.
It's the Triquetra with the snake. I don't know if you can see. It's with the snake in the.
I love that, because
And-
that symbolizes quite a few things. That's an eternal symbol of 3 points. It could
Mm-hmm.
be mind, body, and spirit. It could be the Godhead. It could be, the interpretation is very interesting
Yes.
on that symbol, and you're taking it into your business and collection because it's part of your family. But
Mhm.
I think it's really fascinating that you've got more than one logo that you can use when you want to. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shows
So-
variety. So there's very. It's good to have variety, I think, and I think it's good to be able to go in and out. And a lot of other people are relaunching their businesses every couple of years. They're bringing in
Oh.
new merch, and I think it's lovely that you've got that flexibility within your collection as well.
Yeah. And we bought things that we like, not what everybody else is making. We bought what we want to make and what we find visually appealing.
Yeah.
I watched one of your videos, and you said in there that it's really important to be real and to be who you are, because you can get inspiration from other people, but you've got to
Right.
really go. You've got to want to wake up and clean those rubs because you've got a vision of what you want to bring into your collection. And I think
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's very important to be
Exactly.
true to yourself, isn't it? As Shakespeare says, "To thine own self be true."
Yep.
Yeah. What genes would you like to see with the banana pied? Orange Dream. I'd like to throw the Orange Dream in with banana pied, just to make those oranges pop even more.
I've seen a super orange dream Enchi ultra male pied,
Oh yeah.
because obviously the ultra male and the banana are very similar. And we're going to talk about that in a second, because we're going to talk about the DNA genes that I said earlier that we were going to talk about and how we can go through those. But I think that banana pies are gorgeous, but the ultra male pies are beautiful too. And you've
Yes.
got both genes in your collection. You can
Yes.
put ultra male into your pie too. So there's lots going on there.
Yeah. So that whole clutch will be holdbacks this year. But we're keeping that whole clutch.
Okay. So it says, how would you know if genes are more valuable than others? Well, that's a good question. I think the way I do it is I look at the market. I look
Hmm.
on Morph Market, you can see what things are selling for. So people don't realize it, but not only are they marketing what's available, you can actually go onto Morph Market and see what's been sold
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and the prices that they're selling for. So when you're doing a projection of what genes are worth, if you look at, excuse me, excuse me a second. When you go onto Morph Market, you can actually study what's been sold at what price.
Hmm.
So when you're doing your projections based on clutch size, what it actually does is the clutch sizes can take you to a picture of an animal that's available on Morph Market and tells you what price it is. So that
Yep.
therefore, when you make your projections, you're going on live prices that are actually active right then.
Yep.
The only problem I have is when you're producing world's firsts that haven't got a
Yes.
price
Yeah.
tag. That's
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
difficulty
Yeah.
comes. But
But
what we do
you
is
see the trend. You see
you
the
see the
trend.
trend, and
Hmm.
also what you do is to get an idea of what realistically each extra gene that you layer in that's making it even more beautiful has a price. If it's got a incomplete dominant, you can add an extra few £100 to the animal.
Hmm.
If it's got an extra recessive, you could depends. Some recessives are worth 5, 6, 7,000 pounds plus. You
Yeah.
just so what you're doing is you're rolling up based on a new gene coming in that's not on the market. You think, okay, that gene would go for another 1,000 on top of my projection. So what you do is you have to make a guesstimate,
Mm-hmm.
which is because no one's actually got one
Right.
out there,
Done
and
it.
often Morph Market doesn't hold everything that's sold. I think
Right.
half the market is done outside of Morph Market.
Oh
People don't
yeah.
realize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
fact, most of the best snakes never get to Morph Market.
You know, in our first clutch, that the banana clutch, we sold half the clutch from Instagram.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now you must have a
Thank you.
huge Instagram following because what I'm thinking here is we've got Moonstone. We want to welcome you to the channel. Moonstone, is that ECT? So he loves your symbol
Thank
and
Thank you,
welcome to
you.
the
Moonstone.
channel. Yeah, and mine Goose says thank you for answering the question. He asked a question there. Let's just see where we are. They're valuable if you want them. This is true. Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
The other thing is obviously, although you can project value, the value to you is priceless, if you know what I'm
Right.
saying. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a priceless value that comes into this
Right.
where, it might be 3 or 4 incomplete dominants that you like the look of, which
Yeah.
you'd pay the earth for yourself personally. It might not have the market value out there, but as far as you're concerned, it's your dream snake, and therefore it
Yes.
means a lot to you. So that's
But
when money goes out of the window
yeah.
when it comes to your projects that you've got a passion about, I think.
A perfect example for that, we have a male super mystic. I mean, you know, mystic gene is $100. You know, for example, we have a super
Yeah.
mystic. He was super purple when we bought him. He's grayed out now, but he's our baby. I mean, he is.
He would never go anywhere. I wouldn't sell him for the highest bidder. He's my baby. He'll come out and kiss me on the face. He's
Yeah.
my baby.
Yeah.
I love that because is his name Q Colin?
No, it's Prince Dearmid. We
Prince
just call him
Dearman.
Prince.
Okay. Because I was looking at the name of Cuchulainn, and apparently
Yes.
it's an Irish mythology
Yeah,
and
he was a huge ruler in the
demigod.
Irish
He was a
mythology.
demigod. Yeah, I
Yes.
read the story, and apparently he tried to. There was a great big hound dog that was owned by the king that would guard the castle,
Yep.
Yep.
and he was asked at a party whether anyone else was coming, and he forgot a friend of his was going to come later. And when he
Mhm.
realised to protect his friend that was coming from from the hound dog, he had to slay it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
As
Yep.
part of his repentance as a demigod, he took the place of the guard for the
Yep.
king.
Yep.
That was the story behind it. So when you got the name out, I was thinking, where does that name come from? It comes from. This goes back like this is not prehistoric, but these stories go back like even before Christ. Some of these
Right.
stories.
Right.
Long time. Yeah.
Right.
So
Like
it's very.
our big pied female, she's Danu.
So new.
I mean, you know,
The mother god of
the
all.
mother god of all.
I love it. I love your
Yeah.
theme that's running through your collection. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. So we've got some more questions here. What's the most exciting gene to add to clown in your opinion?
Oh gosh,
Oh.
clown can take so many things. Um, I tell you what, I'm loving the desert ghost pastel clowns.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
I mean,
Those are
those are
gorgeous.
amazing.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
got Desert Ghost in your collection or not?
We do.
We do.
We have two hets. We have they're brother and sister. They're both double het Desert Ghost Clown,
That's
and they're
Enya
both
and
pastel.
Teak. Enya
Tyke,
and Teak.
uh-huh.
Tyke.
Tyke.
Tyke. Now, Enya means fire in Gaelic,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and Tyke means handsome in Gaelic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's
So
a handsome.
we're
Yeah.
shooting for the super pastel Desert Ghost Clowns from them.
Do you know what? That's a lovely project, and there's a 1 in 16 chance. If you get 8 eggs, you might
Right?
hit that in your first season. You know, with
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. And have you seen the price tag on them?
I've seen them because I've got a Exantic Clown project double hets,
Uh-huh.
which is 1 in 16, but they are beautiful. But
Yes.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Desert Ghost Clowns are lovely, and I agree with you. Desert Ghost and Clown is a lovely,
It's gorgeous.
lovely combination.
Yeah. And it just holds the color. You know,
Yeah.
I love clowns, but they brown out.
Yeah,
You know, and if you get something in there that can keep the color, I think Desert Ghost is one of them.
yeah. So I think Enchi Clowns are beautiful. You've got
She's
one, I've got
gorgeous.
one. I think put Enchi in Clown as well. I think
Spot
that
Nose.
Spot Nose in Clown, the Batman project, we know how good that is, and all the other things that come off that.
Yeah.
And we've got.
Leopard. Leopard is awesome in it. Part of the Batman project.
Are you guys shooting for the Batmans?
We are.
Yeah.
So this year we have our leopard het clown going to. He's going to a yellow belly het clown right now,
Okay.
and then we had our spot nose het clown spot nose pastel het clown. He was going to go to our butter leopard. But she's not het, so we had
Bye, Jeremy.
to get the hets into her. So probably the next 6 years we should hit the Batman.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely project. So Jeremy's got to run. So
Good
he's
night,
saying
Jeremy.
good night. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Jeremy. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to make sure we picked up all these questions. Now, let me just switch out. Now I've got another little, this DNA, I want to just discuss very briefly the DNA skin shedding project that's going on, because we're learning so much about it now. I'm going to see if I can add this to the stream. There we go.
Okay.
So here's the question. How can DNA shed skins tests help us as breeders and keepers? So what's going on? And I think the industry's been talking about this for a couple of years, but it's now starting to really come to fruition, where I think there's a university, I think it's
Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan. They've got a university where they're asking us as breeders to donate sheds for their research. And they're taking the sheds of our snakes and they put them in this test kit where they actually mix it with a particular chemical, and they can identify the DNA from the sheds as to what the gene pool is in your snake. So the nice thing about this is that I think 100% of our hets can now be identified. So instead of guessing whether we've got possible hets, if this becomes affordable, so you know when we're trying to accurately price our animals and we're trying to sell 66 or 50% or 25% possible hets, if we can actually get this to an affordable state, we can send the shed of those animals before we sell them to this laboratory. They can then do their tests, they can give us a report, charge us a fee, and then we can guarantee to sell a snake that's either 100% het or it's not.
Right, absolutely. Yep.
That's a massive game changer, because the amount of possible hits that are out there. Now, you talk about your sunset that you've got, hoping but it'd be lovely to get comfort to know that it's 100% het.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that would, I mean, we really don't care if he's het sunset or not. I mean, it would just be nice if he is.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the advantages, and I think that alone, for many breeders, be worth its weight in gold, because you can spend 7 years trying to prove out a possible het. That's 7 years of cleaning one tub every week, twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes. And you're thinking that's a lot of work to find out that you're trying to breed an animal that doesn't carry the gene. Plus, also, you're going to produce all the offspring that won't have the gene necessarily. So there's a knock-on implication that if we can pinpoint it, I think it's a good thing. So that's one blessing, I think. The second point I wanted to make is you can distinguish between yellow belly and gravel and asphalt. Now, we've got both yellow belly and gravel in our gene pool, but we've actually doing it all on trust. That the person that's selling us these yellow bellies and gravels,
Mm-hmm.
we're just trusting that they are selling what they're selling. Yeah.
Yes.
But if you could actually have a shed test, you can know the difference between a yellow belly and a gravel. So, like for example, if you produced a clutch that you're not sure if there's yellow belly or gravel in,
Yes.
if you send the shed to this university, or if we get one in the UK, I'll certainly be doing it. I'd like to know what we actually got, because that can determine the value of the snake. Because gravel and yellow belly, they're beautiful genes, they're very similar, but
Right.
gravel's a lot more valuable in terms of market value
Right.
than the yellow belly.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing, and the same would apply to asphalt and any other incomplete dominance that you can't distinguish, because there are other genes that are hard to distinguish as well. So I personally think that the shed test could be a blessing from that side.
Yes.
The other thing I was wanting to say is that people that are in Dinka projects, if you could send the shed of a Dinka project, and you think something strange is going on, you're not sure if it's a unique gene, they can tell you if it's a unique gene, if they got a big enough pool, because from that skin, if they don't recognize a gene that's in their collection, it's a new gene.
Right.
Right.
And therefore, you're not messing around with a possible Dinka. You're messing around with a real Dink.
Yeah.
You're not dinkering around. They'll change the name from Dinka to something else, because it won't be dinkering anymore.
Because it's not a dinker anymore.
It won't be a Dinka. It'll be there's a gene in there, and I think that's going to transform the Dinka game, because people spend 15 years trying to prove out a Dinka.
Oh, yes.
But sometimes they get nowhere, and
Yep.
they might be thinking they've got a Dinka, and they may not have a Dinka.
Or this guy has a dinker and this guy has a dinker, and they name it something else, banana coral glow, but it ends up being the same thing.
Well, Patrick is having to go, so we want to say thank you,
Oh.
Patrick,
All right.
for
Good
joining
night,
us.
Patrick.
Good night, Patrick.
Good
Thanks
night.
for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming through, Patrick, and we wish you all the well recovering from your illness, and we shall catch up with you again. So let me just go there. Sorry, Jeff, I cut you off there a little bit. Sorry,
No,
I
that's
just wanted to
okay.
say a quick good night to Patrick. Yeah, sorry, you were saying on the Dinka projects then, we got more certainty with the shedding. We can find
Yes.
out what's going on and what's in there and what isn't in there. The other thing is, what about the ultramel and caramel albino, and you've got the lesser platy against the butter? There's lots of people that say that they're separate genes, and other people
Right.
say they're two separate lines. Will this DNA shed test actually get rid of any insecurities on what they actually are? Because what I'm thinking here is that there's a lot of speculation sometimes on certain genes.
Yes.
But if we can actually have a DNA shed skin test, if the genes prove out to be the same, but they might be slightly different lines of the same gene, then these DNA tests will tell us that.
Now, did they not? Correct me if I misheard Chris. Did they prove ultramel and caramel albino the same?
So they want more evidence, and we'll have a
Okay.
look at that in a second. But they reckon that they could be the same,
Okay.
but they've basically been given different names. Now, the caramel albino, there's some of the caramel albinos in the past apparently were giving kinking issues for some
Right.
breeders. Not everyone. Certain lines of caramel albino apparently weren't giving kinking issues. But because a lot of people getting into it were experiencing kinks, the caramel albino has become less popular, which is a shame, because it's as beautiful as the ultramel. In fact, what these people that are doing these biological tests on the genetics, they think that the ultramel and the caramel albino are actually the same genetic, but just two different lines.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And they're saying that they think that we might be thinking they're two separate genes, but in actual fact, they believe they may well be the same genetics. So we'll have a look at that. And the other advantage of actually having this test is that I think in the test they realised that an albino, there's two types of albino,
Right.
which I didn't realise. I thought albino was albino, but they're saying that there's an intense light albino and there's a slightly darker version. So a bit like the lesser platy is much darker. It's a darker lesser. The butter's a brighter lesser.
Yes.
So I think even in recessives, you can get brighter and lighter versions that you think are the same gene, but you think they're like just different intensities. And we could find out with the orange dream, because you've got the orange dream gene. You get some that are very bright and some that aren't so bright.
Right.
And I wonder whether they should do genetic tests on the orange dream to see whether is it the same gene, or is it actually two, what's going on there? Because I just think there's an awful lot of question marks that the DNA shed skin test could possibly answer for us
Yes.
to help us with our future plans. Because if we've got 4 or 5 different exantics, which are all separate genetics, and they're not actually necessary or linked, because when you breed them together, you can't breed a VPI exantic to a
MJ or
an MJ. They're not
Yep.
compatible.
TSK.
But what happens if you actually end up producing an animal that has 2 or 3 exantics in the parents, and you
Right.
actually produce 2 sets of exantics, and you can use these shed skin tests to know which one's got which.
Yes.
Some of them might have 2 sets of exantic. You put 2 parents that have 2 exantics genes together, and they produce an animal that's carrying both exantics.
Right.
Is that going to pop or what? I mean, it could be so intense,
Yes.
So I just think that there's a lot of exciting things for us to look at here and see what's going on. But I think I just did a very quick. That's the website where I got the information, and it's actually trying to see if it's actually on there. Let me have a look and see. So they actually were studying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different genetics.
Okay.
So the exantic spider, the albino, the pied bull, super stripe, pastolenchi. So these are the animals that they've been studying. And this is what they do: is they take a sample of the shed and they put them in these little vials with chemicals, and then they can identify what genes are in there.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, these are all the contributors in the US that have contributed towards this project. There's some big players and small players in there. And this is the size of the shed that they want. They want it to be about that size. You haven't got to give them the complete shed. And they explain what to give them, how to prepare it, how to send it to them. And they give an update on their progress. And they look at 3 genes: the ultramel, the lavender albino, and the albino. And they talk about their project goals, what they're trying to do. So the goal of the project is to discover the mutations responsible for colour morphs in ball pythons. This knowledge will provide insight into the molecular structures and pathways and development mechanisms and the patterns that are created. So they are going into great detail. They look at things like the albino versus the toffee versus the candy, which they're all compatible. All 3 of these genetics are compatible.
Right.
But they're studying this very carefully because they think that there's some special things going on here. And I think on this one they talk about, now this lady here has got a child that is albino.
Uh-huh.
Can you see that?
Yes.
And they say that defects in melanin production in humans causes a gene known as albino or albinism. And they reckon that the same issue that we have in humans is also in ball pythons.
Right.
Similar genetics.
Yes.
And
But we learned how to make more albinos.
Yeah. And they reckon that the albinos, I think when they found the first wild caught albino gene, which was amazing, I believe they're saying that someone else found a similar animal that they called an albino is actually separate to the other albino. There's 2 separate albinos out there. They're in our collections, and some of our albinos are carrying both of them, and some are carrying one of them.
And could you imagine if you had 2 different lines? You would have been breeding them back together for how many years before you realized they were not compatible?
Well, I've got quite intense albinos in my collection, and I've got friends that have got really intense albinos, and some that have got much lighter ones. So I think that it's interesting that the science is now showing us what's going on. And we spoke about the ultramel gene as well. So they're testing to see the link between ultramel and caramel albino. And they talk about that in there. And then they answer a whole bunch of questions. So anybody that wants to get into the project and wants to send one of their sheds to them, they welcome it. And they ask lots of questions. Are we still collecting sheds? Yes, yes, yes. Our project is ongoing and we still collect sheds. And they talk about the benefits of the research. So it'll benefit us as breeders so we can identify what we've got. But also our sheds are going to actually add to a collection of data they're building, because there's 250 plus different genes out there that we know about. But can you imagine if we send in our skin sheds what they could find? They could find some hidden genes that we're not aware of.
We could bump up to 500 different morphs.
It could go up. It could go very quickly.
Yes.
And then they talk about what they do with the sheds afterwards. Do you need to send a whole shed? They're saying no, partial sheds. And then they ask, can you send a torn shed or a broken shed? As long as it's a certain size, they can even take that. The key is not to get it wet. They want it dry.
Right. They need it dry.
If it goes wet and rotten, it kills the DNA. So you've got to get a dry shed to them. They say a dirty shed is fine, but a wet shed will rot out. Do you need multiple sheds from the same animal? Typically, no. A single shed is usually enough. If the shed is damp, please allow the shed to dry to room temperature until the moisture has evaporated. Can I send the shed via registered snail mail? Yes, you can. So you can send it in snail mail. And then what they do is they promote the businesses that send them the sheds. They promote them, their channels or their media on their website. So I've seen Justin Kabelka's in the project. He's on their website. Billy at Mutation Creations on their website. He's been donating sheds. These top breeders can see very clearly the benefits here. And I can as a smaller breeder, as you can, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's some massive benefits to this research.
Not does it only help the breeder, but it helps the customer too. There's when you start getting 5-6 gene animals, you can't guarantee that all 5 genes are in this animal, but they're paying for it.
So what's happening is, excuse me.
I'm doing the same thing.
I'm so sorry. I've been talking. Please feel free to get a drink because I've been talking too long. And you guys started to. Yeah, well done. Yeah. I've been watching Justin and Ozzy, and they say that if they're not sure there's a gene in there, they discount the price as though it isn't in there. Which I think is very commendable if they do that, because it's a bonus if you end up with a gene. In other words, you sell the snake without the possibility of it being in there, even if you suspect it could be in there.
Right.
So when you're customer relationships, I think it's always better to give more than... I always find it's nice when a breeder gives you something and you find there's something else in there that you didn't expect.
Right.
Not in every case, because some breeders don't want that gene in there, but in most cases, it's quite a nice problem to have. Yeah. And I think we might have cryptic in our Desert Ghost, for example. So I've got a top breeder in Europe, Marco Van Haren, who's a world-renowned breeder. I bought 3 Desert Ghosts, NG Desert Ghosts off him. I've looked at one of my little girls and my 10 clutch eggs, and she looks very different to me. And I suspect that she might be carrying the cryptic gene.
Okay.
I'm hoping that she does, because I want to give Desert Ghost clowns, and that's going to further my projects, because cryptic is allelic with clown, which means I can put a clown Desert Ghost boy to her and produce some visual Desert Ghost clowns or kryptons or cryptics.
Yes.
So to me, that could be a blessing, and it makes me feel really happy that I've done business with Marco, because some of these breeders are selling you snakes that have got extra genes you don't know about until you actually produce a clutch and suddenly see something unusual or different. You're thinking, hang on a minute, there's something else going on in here.
Yeah.
And I find that really exciting.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back, I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but the banana clutch that we did this year, they were 50% het pied. But if I'm at a 50%, I'm not charging it any more than just a banana. If it was a banana, 50% het pied, I'm only selling it as a banana.
Yeah. I think that's a really good policy, because number one, the person that you're selling will be a future customer because of that, because you're being very generous and they may end up with a bonus. And secondly, if it doesn't prove out to have it in there, they're not going to be disappointed, are they? Because they're only paying for what you believe is definitely in there. But these genetic tests that we could do, say, for example, these top breeders are motivated to send sheds to the university because they are probably selling a lot of snakes that are worth a lot more.
Oh, yes.
And therefore, they're probably losing thousands and thousands of dollars. Right. But they are building up more goodwill. But they can pinpoint exactly what they have, and they can give more certainty to their customers as what they're getting, which I think is a good thing in the industry. Although I do like to have some surprises. We don't want to be too scientific on everything.
When it goes your way, right?
It's a bit like, when you open up a box of chocolates that you've never had before and there's some surprises in there that you like. You want to have something like that going on in your collection as well. So it mustn't be too scientific. I think there has to be some like when you get
Mystery.
when you've got your clutch and you're getting excited, you're not sure what you've hit.
You're right. Yeah.
That's the excitement of this hobby, I think, is that, and I actually prefer. I know it sounds really weird. I get more excited about a double het clutch than I do on visuals, because visuals you know what you're going to get, but when you
Yeah.
get a double het project, you get excited. You think one of those could be what I want, and
Yeah.
you get super excited about it.
Yeah, a bunch of normals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny actually. You end up with a bunch of normals one year, and then you probably end up with a bunch of visuals the following year. So
Right.
they will eventually compensate
Yeah.
each other. But
Yeah.
don't be disappointed if I know that Adam at Proper Morphs, he was saying in his first year he didn't hit any of them at all, and he was quite disappointed. But I said to him, next year you might go the other way in your favour. So
Oh yeah. Yep.
so that's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it's been 2 hours 10 minutes, and
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
gosh.
it hasn't felt that long because
No.
it's been a lovely conversation. But I wanted to end with just a couple of things, and first of all say thank you to all our viewers for staying with us. It's midnight, just gone midnight here in the UK. I'm sure it's probably past your supper time as well, and I thank you for sacrificing your evening meal to be with us tonight, because
Yes,
you're going to
thank
probably
you.
eat late. Yeah, I really appreciate that, and thank you for sharing your collection and just really stimulating us with some good conversations, some good thoughts, and discussing the future of the hobby, where you're going to go. What I'd like you to do, if you may, just take a few minutes to share how we can get in touch, how our viewers can get in touch with you, how we can connect with you. So can I just give you just a few minutes to maybe share some of your, give you an opportunity to share some of your, how we can connect with you and how we can get onto your media. I'll put all the links in the video, but I'm just going to give you some time now to just share your business with us and how we can connect with you and get to know you guys. Yeah.
Go ahead, baby. We're Celtic Balls on Instagram, and I handle all of Instagram completely.
And how many followers do you have on Instagram, Angie? What's the followers you got?
Close to 1,600. We're
Right,
trying.
$15.99.
$15.99.
Do you know what you've got? Jared's doing ours, and we've got a similar size, 1,600 an hour. So that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's so, and you're selling a lot of your snakes on it, so it's very valuable.
Yeah. Jeffrey does the YouTube.
And it's just under Celtic
Celtic
Balls.
Balls.
Everything is under Celtic Balls.
We have our morph market, and we're getting ready. I've fought it kicking and screaming not to do it, but I'm gonna start a Facebook for Celtic Balls as well. So
Okay, so that's lovely. We have a Facebook that I build friendships on as well. I think Facebook is very helpful. Instagram, I think, is really, really valuable. I think that's a very valuable to do. Anyone out there that isn't doing it and you want to get into selling ball pythons, Instagram is a great way of not only getting inspiration from the community, but building up a network of people that might be interested in your genes, and they might just give you a private message.
Yeah.
And you sold over half your snakes through it, so it speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've got one out of the 2 clutches that we had last year. We have 1 baby left.
Yeah.
That's really good. We're selling quite a few on YouTube ourselves because we're building up a community. We're nearly at 1,000, and there's potentially 1,000 customers out there, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I know.
I wish YouTube had a, like on IG or Facebook, where you could instant message. I wish YouTube had something like that. Where you could just reach out to someone and message them.
Yeah, I think you can send messages. I know you can send in the community. I think you can send messages. There might be a way of doing that. There might be a way of doing that, because I know I send messages without loading up videos on the community page. There's a way of communicating. I think there might be.
Okay.
Might be worth looking at that again, but I think you might be able to do that. I'm not sure, but have to double check that. But yeah,
We have to have one of the kids show us.
I know.
Have the kids show us.
you're very similar. If I haven't got Adam around, I'm lost on computers. It's always helpful to have the next generation around, isn't it? Oh, well, thank you so much for tonight. We're going to finish with a little bit of music, and it will be Irish music.
It was an honor. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having. No, you're more than welcome. And if you do launch a live, please do feel free to. If you want me to come on your show, I'll be more than happy to come.
Absolutely.
We'd love that. Yeah. And thank you for the offer to come over and stay at your place if we come to some of the shows.
Absolutely.
That's really kind
for your offer. Yeah.
I might have to bring the fly rods as well, though, for some fishing.
Oh, yes.
Angie likes the fishing too, so we
I
can have
love
some fun.
the fish.
We'll smoke it. We'll do something with it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Make some Cajun food out of it.
Yeah. Well, let's just say thank you to all our viewers. I know a lot of them are just about with us at the moment. So thank you, all our viewers, for being with us. We've had lovely support tonight, and I'm sure many people will be in bed in the UK. And I think the next day, Jared's put us on Instagram. When he did it last week, we got 500 views.
Wow.
So the power of Instagram is amazing. So that's
Yeah.
another way of promoting your channel, is to put something on Instagram. You got 1,600 followers. That will help you with your building up your YouTube channel as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's worth connecting the media. And Jared taught me that. He said, Dad, I never, because Jared runs the Instagram, I never want to impose the YouTube channel on his Instagram, that he's, even though it's a shared business, it's his baby.
So
And
when you come across the pond, you better bring Jared with you so we can learn from him.
I think so. Yeah, Jared will want to come for sure. He'll want to come for sure. And you'll have to take him to one of your gyms maybe and do a workout. That would be so cool. So cool. Well, I want to send lots of love from the UK to you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And thank you to all our guests. Let's finish in style with the Irish music I'm going to share. It's a beautiful bit of music. It's going to help me go to bed tonight. I know that you guys have got a little bit of time, but it's very relaxing Celtic music. And I think we'll finish on that. And we shall catch up with you another time. Thank you so much for being with us.
Paul.
Love you lots.
Love you.
Love
too.
you.
Okay.
I love Celtic music. Love it.
Yes.
Okay, it's a very brief one. And I think we'll end with...
This one's my favorite.
I love it. That's awesome.
Love it.